I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I push a mind to a limit where it needs to feed. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick. Let's go and turn on the candle. Let's turn on the show here. Oh man. Happy Veterans Day to all the servicemen and women who protect our lives every single day. And for those who protected our lives in the past that are not here with us, truly appreciate them very much, because without them, who wouldn't have in America? And who knows what we'll be speaking right now. Maybe German. But I am rolling up my medicine. You got my medicine all rolled up here. And we're going to catch up on some news. I'm trying to keep the show on hours, I'm hoping. Still dealing with this problem with my brain. And it is my brain. I do have an appointment to see, not an appointment, but I got to walk in to go see the sleep doctor. So I'm going to be doing that this week. I think it's on Friday. I'm supposed to go in. But if it gets worse, then I could go in tomorrow. It's been having this issues with my brain every night. It's not a good thing. And it's very scary, to be honest with you. I am documenting it. I am recording it at night. I do have plenty of videos of what's happening to me at night to provide to the doctors and show. The only thing I need is to pretty much, I need to be monitored. I need to be put on a sleep study and monitor my brain waves while I'm sleeping, because I believe that there's something weird going on in my brain. I just don't know what it is, why it's doing what it's doing, why I'm getting that pounding, like hard, like hits in my brain while I'm sleeping. It's very puzzling to me, because it only happens when I'm sleeping. It doesn't happen when I'm awake. It only happens when I'm sleeping, and it's getting scary. I'm not gonna lie, it is fucking scary, very, very, very scary. It makes me think that my time may be coming up. Maybe my time on this earth may be running out, and I may not be here for long. So we're gonna have to talk about the state of the show. Where are we gonna go, and what's gonna happen? Once I'm not here, the show is terminated. It's gonna be forever gone. You'll be able to watch. I mean, from all the videos that I have recorded on here, you'll be able to go back and watch and enjoy. And for those who go back and watch and enjoy, I truly appreciate it. But my time on this planet is very limited, and I'm not here forever. I know I'm having problems, really bad problems with my head. I just not going to go to the emergency room unless I'm truly dying. That's because of my PTSD is really bad, and I just really, really define going into the hospital to be in there for days upon days and weeks upon weeks. It's just not fun. Every single time I've been there, it's been very, very tragic for me. So I don't know if I'm gonna be alive by the end of the year. I hope to reach New Year's. I would like to New Year's, but is it guaranteed? No, it's not. I'm taking my life one day at a time, and that's all I have is one life to live, and it's one day by day. And and it's very scary. It just scares me every fucking day. But hopefully things will get better. Hopefully it's just a temporary thing. And the reason why I'm super concerned is because it's been happening for the past 8 days, every single day, and has not stopped. And it seems like it's getting worse. So, I will be seeing the sleep doctor. I will be hopefully getting this test done right away to see what's going on in my brain. And then we'll go from there. I've had a lot of traumatic brain injuries myself. I have had a TBI, which is a brain traumatic injury. Um, and it's been plaguing me for the past 15, 14 years since my injury. But now it seems like now it's really affecting my brain, and I'm having issues, really bad issues. And I'm starting to get really bad headaches in my brain. I don't know what to do. If I go to the emergency room, all they're going to do is have me wait there for hours upon hours on a very uncomfortable bed, and they'll give me some medication and holding me and actually probably admitting me, and probably have some scans and some tests done on me. Things that could be done outside of the emergency room. I don't need to go to the emergency room for that. But it is what it is, and my life is coming probably to a close. That's how serious I am, because I feel like anytime now, any moment, I won't be here. And when I'm not here, you'll cry, and you'll be like, damn, I wish I was there to be more supportive of him. And you weren't, so it's okay. You have a lot of videos to go back and watch and enjoy, and maybe then you'll be more appreciative of me. But it's okay. You guys have a life. You guys have your lives to live too, and it's not a part of me, it's a part of you. So let's go ahead and start watching some news here, and we'll go from there. All right, what we got here? Oh, rare footage of Trump. Oh, okay. Let's watch this. Let's go ahead and get that set up here. Actually, I want to change the background. I don't want it to be like that. Let's put some, see what we got. Give me 1 second. I got to set all this up. So I want lightning. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Let's put in my second camera. Yeah, I got my tarot cards here. Nice and ready. Hopefully this is not on. I don't know why. They make shit so difficult. Why does StreamYard sucks, man? It's like, what in the hell is going on? There we go. I put in for the mic not to come on, but it still showed up with the mic. So, I don't know. StreamYard, they keep doing all these updates and all this stupid shit, and I'm just getting tired of it. I am. I'm just probably the one that just does not like StreamYard. Let's go ahead and turn on my camera's candles back here. And if I die, I die. It's okay. I'll let Jesus know everything that has been going on in this world, and I will tell him it's time to destroy the world, because it's not a good place. It's not. A lot of selfish people, a lot of greedy people, a lot of envious people, very dangerous people. Let's go ahead and go on with the news. And here's a resurfaced footage shows Trump's marching in 1995 Veterans Day parade he helped saved. That he helped saved. I don't hear no crazy Democrats coming out and saying, oh, I did this to save or did anything for New York. Nope, it was Donald Trump, but they hate the man. I need to get a shirt made. I'm gonna get a shirt made that says, "I blame Trump for everything. I blame Trump for everything."
Step back, give him some room. Inside, sir. Inside. Step back, folks. Give him some room. Right? Step back. Step back. Give him some room.
Wow, that was pretty cool. Seeing Trump walking in New York City in a parade for veterans. I didn't see any Bill Clinton walking around there in 95. I didn't see nobody of the Democratic Party walking around there and trying to be like, oh, yeah, this. Nope. It was Donald J. Trump. Okay, let's go ahead and let's get this stuff here. Let's see what we got here. All right. So we're going to go nonstop for a while. Do all this and then wrap up the show pretty quick because I'm not going to be here all night. And all right, let's go ahead and give me 1 second because I got to set this up. I got a lot of things here and I want to set it up. This one, I'm going to move it over here. And trust me, when I die, I will be forcing energy towards Earth, and I will find a way to destroy Earth in my afterlife. I will let the baby Jesus know that it's time. It's time to show up and destroy Earth because it's just an experiment that has failed, and no one's happy. Everyone's all for themselves, greedy, needy, can't do anything for themselves. It's just disgusting. You know, this planet has just been, the planet is beautiful. It's just the people. The people is the problem. And a lot of Democrats, the way they thinking and the far left Democrats just makes you want an asteroid to come and just destroy the whole damn planet. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get back to the news. Oh, we got a Jason A here. Let's watch some Jason A.
Is causing grave harm to our world. Misinformation, disinformation, and hate speech are fueling prejudice and violence, exacerbating divisions and conflicts, demonizing minorities, and compromising the integrity of elections. Threats to information integrity are not new, but they are proliferating and expanding with unprecedented speed on digital platforms and supercharged by AI technologies. Science, facts, human rights, public health, climate action are under attack. And when information integrity is targeted, so is democracy, which depends on a shared, fact-based perception of reality. False narratives, distortions, and lies breed cynicism, disbelief, and disengagement. They undermine social cohesion, putting the Sustainable Development Goals further out of reach. Opaque algorithms push people into information bubbles and reinforce prejudices, including racism, misogyny, and discrimination of all kinds. Women, refugees, migrants, and minorities are common targets. Lives are at stake when lies are spread about vaccines and other medical issues. The United Nations' own operations and missions are compromised as our staff deal with a tsunami of falsehoods and absurd conspiracy theories. We demand action. First, to the big tech companies, take responsibility. Acknowledge the damage your products are inflicting on people and communities, and you have the power to mitigate harm to people and societies around the world. You have the power to change business models that profit from disinformation and hate. The climate crisis is a cause of particular concern. Coordinated disinformation campaigns are seeking to undermine climate action.
In 1984 called, and he wants its Ministry of Truth back. The UK has created an elite police unit known as the National Internet Intelligence Investigations Team, dedicated to monitoring anti-migrant social media posts. Leaders claim its purpose is to detect early signs of potential unrest.
Unrest like this protest and counter-protest had erupted after a 38-year-old asylum-seeking migrant was charged with sexual assault for attempting to kiss a 14-year-old girl.
Despite the surveillance, UK's Prime Minister insists he still believes in free speech.
We've had free speech for a very, very long time here, so we're very proud about that. We'll protect it.
Successful social media sites. There are new powers here to censor your site. States mandate
To censor my site?
to censor your site.
You mean Truth?
And
Truth
Facebook.
Social?
I mean Truth. Is that
Well, I don't think he's going to censor my site because I say only good things. Will you please uncensor my site?
Yeah, we're not censoring anyone. We've got some measures which are there to protect children, in particular from sites like suicide sites. We've had too many cases in the United Kingdom of young children taking their own lives. And when you look through their social media, they've been accessing sites which talk about suicide and, encouraging, if you like, children down that road. And that is what we want to stop. Nothing about censoring free speech. But this country is a proud, free speech in this country has been for a very long time. We're very, very proud of it. We will protect it forever. But at the same time, I personally feel very strongly that we should protect our young teenagers, and that's what it usually is, from things like suicide sites. I don't see that as a free speech issue. I see that as a child protection
We
issue.
actually passed a bill in Congress, headed up by my wife, actually, which was to pull bad stuff out having to do with children, because it is a problem. But I cannot imagine him censoring Truth Social. That's more of a very political, and it's been a very big success.
Not going to happen.
And I only say good things about him and his country, so they said to me, you're making a mistake. I'm going to give my ambassador the job, make sure it's not censored. I had not heard that.
Michael, it is true that the United Kingdom and the West has a fairly robust tradition, longstanding when it comes to free speech. So sure that's true anymore. I mean, there's story after story about people being thrown behind bars in the UK, even for tweets that they have deleted, with longer prison sentences than people who've committed actual physical violent crimes.
That's true.
Yeah, that's right, Guy. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible story. I mean, there's a woman that's in prison And what all she did was have a tweet up for 4 hours that she ended up taking down. This is a sweeping crackdown on free speech in Great Britain that we have not seen anything like in maybe hundreds of years. I mean, it's really astonishing. It's happening on multiple levels. Keep in mind, they were already arresting 30 people a day for wrong speech in Britain before this. Now they have a special police task force to constantly monitor social media, including X, formerly Twitter, and they can stop content based on age verification. So they can stop content saying, oh, this is harmful to mental health. And then X recently, just a few days ago, did block content on the basis of the British order to be able to identify if people were old enough to see it. So the other thing you mentioned there was the Islamophobia. They're not going to allow people to criticize mass migration. They're going to call it Islamophobia and a hate crime and prevent it. So this is George Orwell. I mean, George Orwell probably predicted this in 1984 when he wrote his book in the mid-40s.
So, Michael, I was just in Europe at a conference and talking to a number of the people there. I mean, they are married to this idea that you have to monitor the internet, that you shouldn't be able to say certain basic things, including posting memes or things that are counter to what they believe politically in terms of the political party that's in charge. It's not just the UK, it's also the EU. They have this new Digital Services Act, which is complicated trade between the United States and the European Union, and even the deal that the president just got. It's an it's an issue that has not been satisfied according to the administration. So I don't see this going in a direction that's going to get better despite the pressure. I mean, the UK and the EU are really to this idea of putting people in prison for saying the wrong thing or thinking the wrong.
Yeah, Europe's crackdown is maybe the worst in the world, but I mean, it's happening everywhere, and it's actually, unfortunately, accelerated since Trump was elected. So it's the EU, it's Britain, it's Ireland wants to read your your private text messages. Canada, Brazil. The strategy here is to make it so that the social media companies will basically censor this content for everybody. So I think a lot of Americans go, I don't really care what happens in some other country, Britain or Europe. They should care, because this is a strategy to basically encircle the United States and then have these social media companies pressure that they just censor this content for everybody. It's coming at a time when it's overtly political. The populist parties in Europe, just like Trump and the MAGA Republicans in the United States, are focused on mass migration. So they want to censor that content because it's been so politically powerful for these opposition leaders, including Germany, France, Romania. They're basically trying to prevent the opposition from competing at all, both through censorship and just keeping them off the ballot. I will just say one positive thing is that Trump today, yesterday he called out the Prime Minister of Britain. Today he's imposed serious tariffs on Brazil because of their censorship and because of their lawfare in preventing a presidential frontrunner, the last president, Bolsonaro, from competing in next year's elections.
Well, and also just to add to that, I mean, Americans now have to worry about traveling to Europe and saying the wrong thing or posting the wrong thing or have posted the wrong thing many years ago. Being in these so-called Western countries, they could face arrest by the Europeans. Or the Canadians.
The only place I want to go is
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's how 1984 works. Is they want you to be afraid of what you're going to say. They want you to be afraid of saying something controversial and then not expressing it. That's one of the most damaging things to free speech here. America was founded on the idea we have to be free to speak our minds. Europe has taken us in an absolutely terrifying and totalitarian direction.
Yeah. Thank you, Jason A, for a great upload there. Yeah, like, fuck your sensitivity, Europe. Like, fuck your sensitivity. Oh, you're not gonna let me go into your country? Fuck me. And fuck you too. Fuck you too. And everybody else. Like, who gives a fuck? It's like, you guys don't know how to, like, get along and don't know about peace and don't know how to, like, kick out your fucking illegal immigrants because they're eating up all your resources. But yeah, that's how a lot of countries been conquered. This has been going on since human beings have been placed here. This has been going on, is divide and conquer. And that's what they're doing. They're dividing the countrymen from their country, and they're conquering it. Congratulations. You guys are a fuck up, and now you're going to reap your rewards from your stupidity. And, it wasn't your fault, like the people. It was your government. They set you up, and now you're fucked. So enjoy the next, who knows how long, because this is going to be a very long time for you guys. then it's gonna suck too. It's gonna suck because you can't speak freely. You can't have an opinion. That's it. You talking about all this Nazis and fascists and all this that, but we're heading straight to it. You know, we're getting to the point that we're gonna look like China. Everyone's gonna look like China. Everyone's gonna look like everyone's gonna be afraid to do anything. Like, are you kidding me? I didn't like come back and come back to this earth, to witness this shit. Like, this is like everything that is opposite that I'm witnessing now. It's like, man, if I would just stay dead, probably none of this would have happened because I would have not witnessed it. But now that I'm witnessing it and now that I see everything, because everything I'm telling you, I'm going to report it. I'm going to be one of the biggest rats up there in heaven. And I'm like, listen, Jesus, what the fuck you doing over there? You got my joint ready? All right, good. How many joints you have? Limited? It's unlimited? Oh, great. And it's all the flavors that I like too, right? All right, cool, Jesus. You guys, you rock, man. But you've been sleeping behind the controls. What's going on here, man? Earth is going crazy, and people are stopping. Like, they're not believing you anymore. When are you gonna make this grand entrance? Oh, you're coming soon. Okay, well, people better start praying and getting down on their knees because I tell you right now, not looking good for any of y'all. All right, so let's continue on the news. We got a breaking emergency snap ruling issued. So let's take a look at that.
Trump believes the government will soon reopen and appears ready to address a top concern among Democrats, healthcare. Correspondent David Spunt is at the White House tonight, explains what's inside the president's healthcare plan as ending the shutdown remains a top priority. But there's also some late-breaking news from the Supreme Court on SNAP benefits. Good evening, David.
Brett, good evening. That's exactly right. We're waiting for some reaction from the White House. We're told that the Supreme Court extended its temporary pause on the Trump administration sending out those SNAP benefits to more than 40 million Americans, meaning that this is a temporary victory for the White House. They do not have to send out the SNAP benefits that many count on until at least 11:59 p.m. on Thursday. But it is possible the shutdown ends by then. It looks like it's moving that way. But of course, Brett, in Washington, D.C. in 2025, nothing is done until it's done.
We're opening up our country. Should have never been closed. Should have never closed.
Speaking at Arlington Cemetery on Veterans Day, President Donald Trump showed optimism the government shutdown may be coming to an end, and soon. Democrats on Capitol Hill are pushing to keep the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, affordable.
We can have the best healthcare system.
Why the fuck we have Obamacare?
Is it affordable?
That's the problem.
And what the Obamacare was all about was not bringing premiums down, but making.
But it's not affordable. So why are you talking about?
Last night offered his own plan.
Call it Trump care, call it whatever you want to call it, but anything but Obamacare.
Trump's talk of nixing the Affordable Care Act isn't new.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now.
Fast forward to this week.
I want, instead of going to the insurance companies, I want the money to go into an account for people where the people buy their own health insurance. It's so good. The insurance will be better. It'll cost less. Everybody's going to be happy. They're going to feel like entrepreneurs. They're actually able to go out and negotiate their own health insurance.
Democrats are less than optimistic, including the woman who was at the table when Obamacare was born 15 years ago.
I think this president doesn't know about health care. He doesn't really care about health care, and he really doesn't like the Affordable Care Act.
How are you going to say that without even being in the office with the president? You know what I mean?
On the right side,
these Democrats, they're just so evil, man. I'll let Jesus know about them,
mortgage,
especially
them. That want to get into homes and become homeowners. Yesterday in that interview, he said, quote, "It's not even a big deal." Brett.
David Spunt, live on the North Lawn. David, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe.
Definitely gonna let Jesus know the Democrats are a piece of shit and they are horrible people. And listen, Let's keep it moving.
Tonight's show will be brought to you by, I can't f***ing believe it. They f***ing caved on the shutdown. Not even from the best election night results they've had in years.
The Daily Show's Jon Stewart tore into Democrats on Monday night, fuming that they had caved by voting to end debate on a deal that would end the longest government shutdown in American history. 7 Democratic senators and an independent voted for their Republican counterparts to end the shutdown and reopen the government, Stewart seized. Democrats, you sold out the entire shutdown not to get what you wanted, but for a promise to not get what you wanted later. The outrage comes as Democrats have nearly nothing to show for their key objectives in the impasse, which has caused weeks of grounded and delayed flights, furloughed federal workers, and put food stamps for hungry families on hold. In exchange for their vote to advance the package, Republican Senate Majority Leader John Thune agreed to give Democrats a vote on extending the enhanced Obamacare subsidies, the main priority of the Democrats' shutdown fight. However, he did not guarantee its passage. House Speaker Mike Johnson has also made no promise that they would even get a vote in the House if the subsidies extension passed in the Senate. Stewart isn't the only one to sound off at the fumbled finish to the 41-day shutdown. A number of Democrats have called for Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's ouster for failing to prevent defections from their party that allowed the measure to advance. Senator Schumer is no longer effective and should be replaced, California Representative Ro Khanna chided on X. If you can't lead the fight to stop healthcare premiums from skyrocketing for Americans, what will you fight for? To many Democrats, the shutdown surrender was a slap in the face, following the party's strong showing in the November 4th elections. With an amended bill being passed in the Senate, a vote to end the record-setting government shutdown is expected in the House of Representatives as early as 4 p.m. on Wednesday, according to Republican leaders. The continuing resolution expected to pass this week will fund the government through January 30th and give back pay to federal workers furloughed since October 1st.
I don't know. It's something's not right. Something's just not right. Like everything, because I monitor a lot the news and stuff, and I feel the energy. And trust me, you guys are not ready for what's coming. You guys are not ready for what's coming. We got a lot of energy coming our way. Actually, coming in tomorrow, we have a X flare that's happened, and I think it's I don't know if it's a 4 or 5, but it's a strong X flare that's coming our way. And who knows, maybe all our fucking electricity and electronics will be gone, in a matter of a day. Who knows, right? No more MyMindoverYourMatter, no more YouTube, no more internet. That would be like the best thing to happen to society if we were to end the internet. Because I like the togetherness. I like us, but in reality, I think it has done more harm than good. And I'm not selfish. I'm not I could live without the internet, so that means no more YouTube, no more apps, no more games, none of that shit. That's all antique gone. Bring us back into the 50s, 60s, 70s. How technology, with no cell phones, none of that stuff. Humanity was a little bit smarter but stupid at the same time, because the racism still exists. But I don't understand racism, because we were all put here. So who are we to claim anything, especially race? Are you kidding me? That's how I feel. Society is just a failure. And when I die, I'll make sure a nice good asteroid comes to Earth and just hits it, and I'll push it with all my might. And I'm sorry for everybody else, but we just don't deserve to live here. That is damn sure. And all right, let's check out this news. What's this about? All right. check this out. This is in Connecticut, Torrington.
In Torrington, investigators have taped off a home on Etna Avenue where they say one person was stabbed. Pinpoint Tracker shows you right where this is happening. And your reporter, Owen Kingsley, is live on the scene with everything he's learning right now from police. Owen?
Okay, our Torrington police respond around 12:45 this afternoon where they found a person stabbed. That victim has been brought to St. Mary's Hospital down in Waterbury. Right now, we do not know their condition. Right now, behind us, still a very active scene and a area that's really just kind of been frozen in time. You'll see the crime scene tape wrapping around the house. The garage door still wide open. A package that had been delivered sitting right next to the mailbox. Neighbors we spoke with did not know the people who lived here, but described to us what they saw.
But they're not dead,
One man
right?
nearby says he saw police with guns drawn appear to take a person into custody. He couldn't tell if that person was a man or woman. Torrington police have not confirmed if they have anyone in custody, but say there is no threat to the public. A second neighbor we spoke with who works at a group home in the area says he was driving to the house when he saw the initial scene blocking the road.
Pretty shocking, especially in this neighborhood. Definitely. Kind of quiet. Everybody's to themselves. So.
Oh, look at the snow. It's snowing in Torrington.
A third neighbor who I spoke with
Snowed
this
a little
afternoon
bit up
and lives
there.
just down the street.
It didn't
says
reach here.
She has seen police visit this address before, and just a few days ago, she saw two people, including a young woman, get into an argument right out front of this home. We'll continue updating you as we learn more information throughout the evening. For now, your reporter live in Torrington, I'm Owen Kingsley, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Okay, Owen.
Well, the safe and the good part about it is nobody got killed. Just someone got stabbed. So, you know, it could have been a lot worse. All right, let's set up the next video. Here we go. Oh, we're going to South Florida, WPLG, local 10 News. This covers Miami, Fort Lauderdale. So, let's watch.
Right now, 4:30, a South Florida mother facing a number of disturbing charges in connection to the death of her 9-month-old daughter.
And police say the baby died after ingesting lethal amounts of cocaine and meth. A local 10's crime specialist, Bridget Matter, is live. She's in Southwest Miami-Dade with some disturbing details for us. Bridget?
Hey, what's up, Terry?
Christy Louie, this is really disturbing and sad. Not only did the medical examiner find cocaine and meth in this 9-month-old baby's system, they also found feathers and eggshells in the baby's stomach. Officers also said in the report that this home where they found this child was not fit for children to be living. They found trash and food all over the floor. An officer even had to stop one of the other children inside from drinking baby oil when they responded to the house. We do want to show you a mugshot of the mother.
My
Her
God.
name is Natalia Munez Paulino. According to investigators, her 9-month-old baby died after ingesting drugs. According to police, she told investigators she and the baby fell asleep. When she woke up, the 9-month-old was dead, but she kept changing her story, telling DCF the baby drowned in a bathtub, telling the child's father the baby choked. This happened back in July of last year. The 26-year-old woman was recently arrested. According to reports, police were trying to find her for some time. The child's father also told investigators she admitted in the past to him she used drugs, and he did see drugs in the home, but he was not there at the time of the baby's death. I did speak to a neighbor off camera. He said that he did see this woman pregnant at one point, but he never saw the baby after that, and she is facing a second-degree murder charge as well as aggravated child abuse. For now, we're live in Southwest Miami-Dade. Bridget Matter, Local 10 News.
Oh my God. Like, what? A 9-month-old, like 9 months, had cocaine and heroin in its system? You see what I mean? Why? I feel like we're living in hell. This has to be hell. This is not heaven. This is hell. And what the hell is this lady? Her place, oh my God, the baddie camera. Oh man, because I'm good at looking for body cameras. Oh no! Imagine this body camera. You're walking in, he's looking at all the filth everywhere, and then you have a kid there about to drink baby oil. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what is going on here? Like, you know, the problem is not only the parent, but it's also DCF. Because they should, if they knew that these children are in a high risk like situation, they should be closely monitored and not let them be with their mother. Known she had prior problems, and the fact that she killed her 9-year-old, and how the hell did the drugs get into the kid? Because it's cocaine and heroin. Oh, I'm gonna tell him everything. I'm gonna tell him everything. All right, let's keep it moving.
Turning now to a crime alert and the arrest of a student accused of taking a gun to school. Local 10 Leanne Motorhong is live outside the jail with what she's learned. Leanne.
That defendant, Jada Burrows, is still in jail at this hour. Let's show you her mugshot. This is 18-year-old Jada Burrows. She became a legal adult in January, and she was arrested just yesterday. She's charged with possession of a weapon on school property in Lauderdale Lakes. And in court, they said she is a student at the school where she brought the weapon, but we are still working
Yeah,
to
cocaine
confirm
and meth in the
documents
baby
and
system.
information requests,
That's fucked
exactly
up.
which school within Broward County she brought that weapon to. Now, this is video from court today. She appeared in bond court this morning, where it was revealed that she was arrested last year as a juvenile for bringing a gun to that same school and making threats. The judge said that this pattern of behavior was cause for concern.
I'm very concerned over the fact that Ms. Burrows has picked up the same charge only a year later at the same location. Not only the fact that it's the same, it's a location involving a school where students are present. That's obviously a huge safety concern for the court. And for her to be allegedly doing this while she has another case pending on the same charge, same location,
Oh my God.
doesn't give me any confidence that she's learned from the first time around.
Oh no, she fucked.
So because of that, the judge decided she was not a good candidate for pretrial services. She was ordered held on a $2,500 bond and told to stay away from the school. We reached out to the Broward Sheriff's Office as well as Broward County Public Schools for more information. Their offices, however, were closed for the Veterans Day holiday, so we're hoping to get more information tomorrow when they reopen. Reporting live here in Fort Lauderdale, Leanne Morejon, Local 10 News.
Okay, Leanne, thanks.
Listen, Morejon, we got issues. We got a problem. Hey, Rick, what's the problem? Society. My camera's going to be coming in and out. Energy is very high with me, and I'm starting to fuck up the system. When I get mad, that's what tends to happen. There's freezing, we're talking some crazy shit happening. It always happens. So we'll just. And it happens all the time when I get mad. Everything starts going crazy. The internet, everything, like the show is going to be fucked now. You'll see. It just happens. Why this person went there with a gun to a school, right? She still haven't even gone through the courts and anything for that. And she goes back to that same school with a gun for a second time. They don't watch what we watch. Are people not informed? Like, why everyone is so fucking weird? Oh, I can't wait to tell Jesus that. Oh my God. He knows. He knows. He knows. But I'm gonna remind him, say, listen, man, I don't know what the fuck we're doing. But we need a different plan here because we got Democrats acting crazy. They got a lot of he she's over there and they dumps and they're fucking killing people. And then you got people killing people and people killing babies. Like every day we sleep and we wake up and we continue to make the same motherfucking same mistakes every single time. Like, I don't know, man. I give up. Fuck these motherfuckers. I'm just gonna send a fucking big asteroid this way, and you're like, oh shit, fucking Rick said he was gonna do this. Look, the motherfucker did do it. Yeah, it's just getting my medicine ready here. It's Veterans Day. Yay! You know, I'm a veteran. I served in the Army. In the U.S. Army. I've talked about it many times on my show in the past. So you're going to have to go back and find that because that's a needle in a haystack. That's for damn sure because I didn't really like itemize everything that I fucking said on the show on descriptions. So everything is kind of like a new show. You have to watch and be like, oh shit, just sit there and be entertained. You know, because every show was different. Every show was magical. It was really cool. It was really cool. I'm gonna get my medicine rolled up. That's what I'm gonna do. I need another joint. I smoked one already. I smoked it a little bit too quick because I was getting mad. You know, because like people killing people the way they're killing them, right? And the way they just like it's just I'm just so disappointed. If I was Jesus and I'm watching everything that's going on, I feel sorry for every one of you because I'm gonna make y'all suffer. I'm gonna make y'all suffer. That's fucked up, man. The way you and you know, bringing a life into this world should be the greatest moment, right? And you're supposed to like be the protector, be the one, you know, the shelter, the security, right? You're supposed to be the one for your child. And yet you have people, they don't care. They're like, I just fucked this guy for like $20 and he fucking nutted in me and I fucking got pregnant. You know, but I got some drugs out of it. And then she got pregnant. Had a kid. 9 months later, not even 9 months, and killed the baby. And then she was coming up with, oh yeah, the baby drowned. Oh no, the baby choked. Oh no, the baby had cocaine and meth inside of it. You got a special place in hell. I'll make sure of it. A lot of people have a special place in hell. It'd be funny, like, oh, I'm Jesus. Like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, I told you, motherfuckers. I was watching. I was using this motherfucker the whole time. That would be like a good ass movie. Anyhow. But a lot of people are going to suffer because they continue to make mistakes. They keep not learning from their mistakes. They keep on with their bullshit. And you think y'all going to make it to heaven like that? Okay. And the fact that it's just a lot of people that are acting like this. And the sun is acting up too. So with the sun acting up and the energy that we're getting bombarded with is so much that this type of energy kills people. Like a lot of people are going to die within the next 3 days. Like a lot of people. Because the amount of that solar flare, that energy that's coming from the sun, you got to understand. There was a back to back solar flare. And it's coming towards us. but you don't hear in the media. Nobody's talking about it. There's only a couple of people that are bringing it up, like the real BP Earthwatch. Let me see. Let me bring up a video of his. Hold on. I'm pretty sure he talked about it. He's talking about it because we got hit. We're getting hit by really strong flares. Let me see if I could. Are you kidding me? Oh, we're gonna have to watch this. A fucking add-on. Another add-on. Oh Lord, I don't want to be on here for too long. I'm sorry, but these are add-ons as needed. Okay, let me put this to. See. Okay. Trying to find this shit. Can't find shit right now. Let me go to his channel. I know he's coming out with some videos on it. If you're not subscribed to him, I kind of highly suggest that you subscribe to the real BP Earthwatch. I've been a subscriber from him for many moons. But I hate when YouTube buries my channels, man. They should let me be able to put where I want my channels instead of them throwing my channels all over the place, because it's hard to find my channels. And a lot of channels, I have a lot, but not a lot, but I have a lot of channels. There's certain people I listen to. Here he is. Okay, let's see what we got. Yeah, the sun, yeah, heads up. Solar impacts have started, will increase to, okay, we can watch that. Let me set it up. Let me set it up. And take a moment. See if I could make it nice and big here. Come on, man. When YouTube messes around with me, I'm trying to do something here and it's like, all right, let's bring this all the way up to the front. All right, here we go.
November the 11th, 2025. Guys, a very short video with the link, and I think maybe you can enjoy this and get some real-time information from it. We're looking at the real-time solar wind, and I mentioned in the videos earlier that around 4 p.m., we'd start seeing some impacts from what would be about 24 hours of increasing solar wind speed, plasma density, earthquake problems, and all of that, right? Well, it's beginning right now. It is 5:05 or 5:07 p.m. Central Time, but let's go back a little bit in time right here. And this is a 3-day chart, guys, going from here to here's one day, from here to here, and then today on the 11th is from here to here. So right now, again, not very far off in the timing, we're starting to see a step up. And remember, if you look, there was 3 different solar flares coming in, or coronal mass ejections, and they would start about this time, and they have. So this is not a big jump, but it is a very impactful rise. In other words, a brick wall. And now, again, think about this. It has not risen to 600 like it was 3 days ago. We're more, let's get right here, 511, right? But remember, it's going to rise to 1,300 kilometers per second before this is said and done. and create a G4 magnetic storm. Also, the shields are still open. Look at the top here. They're trying to close, but now look at how that widened the gap. I warned about that in the earlier video. So if we're getting extreme solar bombardment while our shields are open, that just amplifies everything. Not going to make this much longer. I'm going to put a link in the video comments below to this, and so you can watch it coming in real time. Now, what's happening is we have a couple satellites up that this information is coming from, that depending on the solar wind speed gives us 30 or 45 minutes heads up. In other words, it's between us and the sun. And they're about 1 million miles out, most of them. But the sun is 93 million miles away. So this gives us a very accurate assessment of solar wind speed, because it has already slowed down through that period of time to where we're getting, again, we talk about muzzle velocity is very fast. Over that period of time, you've got everything slows down. But here it is right there. We're starting to see the beginning of it. And the link will be below. Don't want to draw it out. It's been a long day with a lot of videos. In these times, a lot of information is coming out. So just prepare for that. And guys, God bless every one of y'all. So heads up, be safe. Check the link out below.
That's dangerous. I'm telling you, what's gonna be happening. We have never dealt with this type of energy before, so when I say scary times, I mean very fucking scary times are ahead of us. It's let's go ahead and view this here, because this is from 6 hours ago, but let's go ahead and watch it anyways. Give me 1 second to set it up. Okay. Here we go. Come over here and let's watch.
November the 11th, 2025. Guys, we got a pretty major update about the incoming solar flare. Showing the one this morning, guys, it appeared that the X flare from today was the one coming behind it. But now what we're seeing is a tremendous change in solar wind speed, which they call radial velocity, and it's measured in kilometers per second. What you're seeing, since they've added this third flare into the model, is this third high peak right here. Now, green line means the Earth, in both of the graphs. The red line means stereo B satellite, which is right there. The red dot, Earth is here, the sun's here. Notice something about the back flare. It is moving so much faster that it almost catches up with the forward flares. And guys, we're talking about going from 800 kilometers per second, and that's where we were at this morning, and that is right there. See that line? That's where we were at. Now we're here. I don't remember a model. Now, I've been doing it a long time, so I may have forgot, but I don't remember any models initially showing that type of solar wind speed. Guys, that's really rare. And if you look at the timing on it, again, this first 800 kilometer per second impact was going to be on the 12th, which Universal Time put it this afternoon, which is still coming. But then you go on a few hours later, and we're going to have that other impact. Now, the plasma density, centimeters cubed, has also increased, but not nearly as much as the solar wind speed. Again, look at this, 1,300 kilometers per second. Just so you know, I'm going to put this into the calculator here, guys. And if you put in 1,300 kilometers per second, that's very fast. Look, 2,236.93 miles per hour. You see what I'm saying? We were going to be at about 1.5, 1.6, right in that area from the first impact at 800 kilometers per second. But now this changes the entire ball game again. I do not remember one coming in this fast. Maybe wrong, but it definitely is going to break some records over the last few years. So guys, you got to be prepared for this. Again, being the strongest speed, you're going to have a hard impact. And now they're going to move the geomagnetic storms to a definite G4 from a G3, and the earthquake probabilities are going to go up. There's a lot of effects when you get this type solar wind. Now, this morning, this last flare, the one we're dealing with, was already showing here, but it was not showing on the model, and that's my bad, guys. I'm glad we kind of look back on this thing. But this is one of the strongest solar flares. It definitely is for this year, 5.1, I think it was. We've seen them stronger than that, but that's the strongest this year so far. But even those did not have that solar wind speed. This shows you where you had your radio blackouts here over South America and the United States as of now. C flare, 99% chance of another one. X flares, 35% chance. M flares, 75%. And proton event, 99%. X flares, a lot of times will be 0.1 or 0.01 during a calm situation. So this is a high probability. Now, in a couple of days, 4274, which is the largest flare on the sun right now, will be turning away from us. The different colors indicate that you have different magnetic polarities. You got like a negative section, positive section, and they will arc over to each other when they start working close together, and you'll get these solar flares. Now, 4276 is almost, and 4277 is almost Earth facing. Remember, if you drew a line across the equator of the sun, and this is an Earth facing image, you got some sections coming around, but again, this right here has been the troublemaker so far. And this is an image we haven't seen in quite a few years. What we got is that very strong flare, guys. It energized all the particles that you're seeing right here. So much energy blowing through the solar system. That's what they call it, energized particles. And I've seen these before, but this is definitely a full halo. In other words, the whole, that's why the Earth is going to be encompassed in 1,300 kilometers per second solar winds. That's very powerful blast. Now, this is the same satellite we just saw, but let's go back a few days and watch it approach. This is kind of your normal look right here, and that's what I was going to show you because of the difference that the energized particles make. And we've leading up to today, notice it's the 10th, just went into the 11th on the timestamp on the bottom. Bam, there you go. Starting back on the 7th, and you'll see just before the last one, the big one, the two other coronal mass ejections that are headed our way. Notice your timestamp, the 10th, and then that powerful one, then today on the 11th. Bam, that one's incoming. That's hard and heavy, guys. Now, notice your timestamp at the bottom. Same satellite, different camera. This is the LASCO C3, and it gives you a much wider view than the red LASCO C2. There's one full halo burst there of this incoming CMEs. Check that out. That was powerful. Notice how it changes everything. And a lot of times they will have to, I've seen it to actually automatically shut off the optics in some of the satellites when you get that much energy. But we haven't seen, we've seen some full halo CMEs this year, but none that powerful that energized the entire solar system like that. Look at
wow.
That. And all the satellites that it affects those.
Yeah, we're going to be
by the time it gets to the space shuttle, they'll have problems with it. But we have a couple of different satellites that give us from 30 to 45 minutes early warning time about this incoming solar wind that's going to be
we're in trouble.
Something to deal with.
Yeah.
And let's go back to this morning for just a moment. This is space weather, guys, and they're talking about the Cannibal CME. You saw it, and the possibility of a G4 class storm, definitely a G3, but now it changes again.
Hey,
we will have the strongest of all G4 magnetic storms. And
we're getting hit by really strong energy.
About 800 this
morning.
Tomorrow,
we're probably going to have northern lights.
Now we've really gotten up there. Let's take a look at the actual real-time solar wind. This is one of the links on our website. But guys, a couple of things here. At the bottom, you've got the temperature of the solar wind. You've got in purple the speed. And so we're a 3-day forecast or 3-day modeling here, and the satellites are giving us this. And so, like I said this morning, it's going to be winding down. 320 is about your average, and it's down to dripping just below 400 kilometers per second. But we're going to see an impact that goes off of the scale of 700 to 800 on the first impact. Then they're going to have to change the scale up to 1400. You see what I'm saying? Now, at the top, this is concerning also. These are the shield magnetics, basically. And what you've got is a positive and a negative. And when they're separated like this, that's kind of due to the angle of the incoming solar wind and the angle of the Earth and the sun. Then you have openings in our shield, and more radiation pours through, more pressure, all of that, electrons, neutrons, whatever's coming through, it's opening. Now it's trying to close, but it hasn't yet. And when this incoming storm happens, this thing more than likely will go wide open again. That makes it more dangerous for the effects on us, earthquakes, all of that, for radio blackouts, interference on your internet, TV, anything electronic like that. It's going to definitely affect it somewhat. We could see some winding down of a few things. We have not seen a storm like this in quite a while. And this has been updated also. Severe G4 geomagnetic storm watch as of today at 17:30 UTC. It says a severe G4 geomagnetic storm watch was added beginning middle to late day on November the 12th. That's tomorrow. That's UTC time. We're going to look at the timing on the event and translate it back to the East Coast. Anyway, the fast-moving CME was propelled towards Earth by an X5.1 solar flare early today around AR 4274. That's the sunspot number. Aurora sky watchers at middle latitudes should be alert for visible auroras. The guys, you could see them again down into Texas, Georgia, areas like that, depending on the weather. It should be noted that geomagnetic storming may already be in progress once the CME arrives, as earlier shock waves from the X1.7 and the X1.2 flares are expected to pass Earth in advance. Stormy space weather ahead. That's exactly what we're watching. First two, they're talking about the cannibal effect, but the third one is so fast, and you saw the wind speed, predicted wind speed, that it almost catches them before the Earth. And the charts, they go along with that. Now, this is going to give us the new timing. Here, you notice this is ahead of the solar wind speed. Plasma density here, about 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. We're going to start seeing that. That's the thickness of that cloud that's coming in. That's coronal mass ejection. But at 12 noon tomorrow, 15 hours later, Eastern time, we're going to see the peak of that very high solar wind. But it's going to start climbing tomorrow morning. Notice the 12th, 13th coming in here. And this is universal time, but we saw a 15-hour gap again between the plasma density hitting us and then the solar wind hitting us. That's just telling you that the first two impact points, notice they correlate with the first peak right here that was at 800 kilometers per second. And if you look right here, you'll see why. That's because the last one comes out very fast. The faster they move, the thinner the density is. It's like smoke. Notice that right as it crosses Earth right here, the last one right there is not red and black, but very high solar wind speed. So there's our timing. And I want to go back to CERN operations for just a moment. Notice the clock ticking right there. We are live inside and we have no beam. That's a good thing. On the solar wind speed chart, I was showing you at the top that the red and black line were separated, telling us that our shields were open. Remember, their shields are at CERN are 100,000 times stronger than the Earth shields. So this is and what has happened, guys, is like I said this morning, I have seen when CERN cranked up that it collapsed the Earth shields. And that's the last thing we need with that incoming solar storm. So this is something I'm going to pay attention to, because after 3 p.m. today, we should start seeing some effects of the first couple of flares and then going all the way into tomorrow at noon. But maybe they will stay closed down during this duration. But guys, we are watching it. You watch it. A lot of things happening, so watch for updates. It's a heads up. Be safe.
Yeah, that's just wild, because we don't pay attention to the sun at all. Nobody pays attention to the sun. Nobody
Another
cares.
severe
It's too
geomagnetic.
busy. Everyone's busy in their lives and don't have a moment to. And it's something that affects all of us. It's not like, oh, it'll probably won't hit me. It hits everybody. I'm sorry to tell you, but this is something that's going to affect all of us. So I got another to get some more in depth into what we're talking about with the sun. Let's check this video out here.
Another severe geomagnetic storm warning has been issued for Wednesday and Thursday. A level 4 out of 5 from NOAA has just been issued, and that's due to this big explosion you see coming right off the sun here again this morning. This is the third day in a row. Boom, right there. You can see that. That is headed towards Earth. So I'm going to talk about the impacts of this and aurora viewing potential in this video. So what we're looking at right now is a model by the Space Weather Prediction Center. This little green dot is Earth. This one is the sun. This banding here, these colors you see, these waves, that is the plasma density from the coronal mass ejection from the sun. And this is the velocity right here, so how fast it's moving. And you can see those really start to light up. So here's the first flare that happened on the 9th. You'll see it boom right there. Then another one occurred on the 10th. That one's moving faster, may merge into that first one. And then that third one today, moving faster, but will merge after it passes Earth. Now, it's really interesting. I mean, usually these are just one-offs, but these are 3 right back to next to each other. And the first 2 could merge, and you can see they hit Earth right around Tuesday night here very shortly into Wednesday morning. And then that third one hits around probably Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday evening. This is due to 3 different solar flares that have happened over the past 48 hours or so, 72 hours. This is rare you get it above this red line, but we've seen 3 in the past week or so. Now, you see one right here, X2, maybe. We're here, one X 1.2, and then right here an X5. So that's way up the scale here. Now, will there be any radio blackouts or anything like that? There might be some like brief radio disruptions, but I don't think there's going to be anything major in terms of like electronic blackouts or anything like that. That's going to be way up there, like a Carrington type of event. So we're still a ways from that, but nonetheless, a very powerful flare. Here's a simulation on how the aurora could evolve across the planet over the next couple of nights. This is the sun right here. These little particles you see are the coronal mass ejection plasma that are headed to Earth, and this is the Earth right here. These fields over here, you're going to see a lot on these Aurora phone apps. These are parameters that we can use to forecast the aurora. And when they light up, that's typically when the aurora can become active. So I'm going to go over each one and show you kind of how it's going to go. So the BT here, that's the total magnetic field strength. And that stronger that value, the stronger that magnetic field is. And you can see some dots popping up there over the North Pole. Now, the density, as that increases, that's more dense plasma from the sun hitting those nitrogen and oxygen molecules in the atmosphere. That's going to cause a reaction and light up the sky, essentially make those auroras more dense. As you can see, we are increasing the density. The solar wind velocity also can contribute. That's how fast those particles are moving to the Earth. And that could be really high as well tomorrow. And then finally, the BZ, this is the fun one. If this is negative, that's going to essentially mean the aurora's more likely to be viewed farther south. If it's positive, it's going to be a lot further north and maybe none at all. But let's say it's negative here. You can get values negative 30 or so, and that's really good if you're in the mid latitudes to potentially see the aurora. So once you see those values in the central United States go below negative 20 or so, that's a really good bet that the aurora could be visible. If you're in the northern United States, maybe below negative 10 or so. And you can see how that really gets going. And if we increase the density, that aurora density increases, we decrease it. Now, this was an X-class flare, so we're going to do a simulation of the X-class, a lot more intense than the C-class. And you can see right as that plasma hits Earth, a big time spike as the BT values go up to negative 20 plus, BZ negative 20 below, velocity up into several hundreds, and density way up there as well. And then it starts to level off after a little bit. But we could see 3 rounds of this because of those 3 flares, those charts. It could be a wild couple of days for aurora viewing activity. And right as that flare hits, you can see that aurora lights up right around the poles. Now, you might be wondering, will we see the aurora? So this is a chart I found on the internet from NOAA. This is called the KP index. It goes from 0 to 9, 9 being more likely you'll see the aurora, 0 being much less likely. And this index is actually on apps, which I'll show you in a second. G4 is what our severe storm was for Wednesday, and that would be somewhere in between a KP 7 and a 9. And Tuesday night, it's going to be a KP up to a 7, so with this G3 storm. So that means you could see auroras along and north of this yellow line when the KP 7, when it's a 9, all the way down in the central United States. So NOAA actually has a forecast they put out for the aurora for Tuesday night and Wednesday night. So here's Tuesday night here, pretty much effective now. You can see this red line. That's the horizon viewing line. So even if you're not under this aurora oval, if you're near that red line, maybe give or take 100 miles, even if you're south of here, it's worth maybe even looking north to see if you can see the aurora on the horizon. Otherwise, the most likely area is going to be in this red area, and a decent chance if you're in the green area. So the northern United States has a pretty good shot. Again, if it, sometimes these things come in spurts and go really crazy for very brief periods of time, 15 minutes or so, and they could spill even further south. Tomorrow, pretty similar story, maybe just slightly farther north. But again, tomorrow's flare could be stronger. It just might be a little bit earlier in the day. If that happens a little bit later, right at nightfall, maybe this thing does get extended south. We'll see what happens. But again, northern United States for that aurora oval. This is the KP index over the next few days here. You can see it really peaks out around the 12th. This is the morning here of the 12th and KP 7. And tomorrow, again, we could see this change a little bit. Could see that KP 7, 8 go up there. We'll see what happens. But again, maxing out probably early morning hours of Wednesday morning, and then again, late Wednesday afternoon and evening. I also opened up a new channel called Super Weather Vault. Just created this. It's going to be a lot of cool animations, like long track animations of past extreme weather events. We're also going to do some case studies and documentaries on this channel. So check it out. Give it a subscribe. Alrighty, so let's take a look at the cloud and aurora viewing forecast. What I've done here is this red line is the KP of 8. So this is the KP 7, the yellow line, and that extends across the northern United States. So what we have here is the total cloud covers by level. So we've got low clouds here in the gray, medium, mid-level clouds in the magenta, and high-level clouds in this blue color. You can get away with maybe seeing the auroras with those high-level clouds, as those are thin cirrus way up, and those kind of scatter quite a bit. But they will hinder the display a little bit. These low to mid-level clouds are usually thicker and will really impact the display. They're closer to the ground. Okay, so northern U.S. here, pretty clear. Decent area for that aurora. That's really where that arc comes down as well. So that's a really good area for auroras. Again, maybe even Nebraska, Iowa, if it gets that far south tonight. But the Dakotas, Montana, and Minnesota looking pretty good. Clouds to the northwestern United States and northeastern United States will hinder the display. Now, if you're south of these areas, again, keep your eye on the sky. There's a chance you could see the aurora, just less likely.
Like Jersey,
so we'll go overnight here into Wednesday morning, 3 a.m. Wednesday.
It's not good here.
An arc of clouds starts to build in to the north central United States, but mostly higher clouds like cirrus. And again, kind of spotty. So the best viewing potential will be early on. But like I said, the aurora, best odds of the aurora hitting probably around 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. or so. Again, Tuesday and Wednesday morning. So as we go towards Wednesday night into Thursday, the story changes quite a bit. We'll go Wednesday at 0Z, which is around 7 p.m. A lot of clouds are starting to move in from the east, and not a lot of clouds clearing in the northeastern United States. Your best bet Wednesday night is going to be out here in probably Wisconsin, up into Minnesota, maybe southern Michigan, and then briefly another area up in Nebraska and eastern South Dakota.
Any parts of Ohio.
That's going to quickly change. As you can see, the clouds are starting to move in here. This is Wednesday or Thursday morning around 2 a.m. Still a decent chance up there in north central United States, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Some clearing could occur in Montana towards the
morning hours of Thursday, so maybe your chances improve out there. And some spotty activity on the northeastern United States. A lot of clouds for this event. Again, your best bet is going to be in the northern, north central United States for the aurora viewing activity north of these lines. So that's today's aurora forecast. Again, I don't think there's going to be any blackouts or anything like a Carrington event. However, this will be a pretty intense event with the chances to see aurora all the way down in the northern, maybe in parts of the central United States. Right place, right time, no clouds as well. So hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe.
That's what's a good little report there on the sun and what's been going to be happening tonight into tomorrow. A lot of energy is hitting us. Okay, you may feel a little weird. Your head may feel a little weird. You might feel a little pressure. Shit's just probably gonna act a little weird. People are gonna be very weird. I say stay away from people. You know, if you can stay away from them, great. But just if you have to deal with them, deal with them. But it's just a weird energy. You know, the last time something like this happened, we had big earthquakes happen on this planet. And Turkey took a brunt, and so did, I would say, what was it? What's that earthquake? The one that hit during it was like right after we had gotten a solar flare. I don't know if it was Japan. I'm not sure if it was Japan or Indonesia. Right after we had like a really big event, not many people were paying attention to the sun anyways, and but tonight hopefully is not the night where California starts start shaking. That'll be a bad thing. All right, let's continue on with the news. Let's see what's up.
Agency Director Bill Pulte posted about the idea over the weekend, but again, caught a lot of backlash for President Trump and Pulte himself, with some experts calling it a Band-Aid or a distraction as well. You can see what Bill Pulte said here. Thanks to President Trump, we are indeed working on the 50-year mortgage, a complete game changer here. But with a new report from Politico saying that not everybody on President Trump's team is too happy with Pulte right now and him pushing that 50-year idea on President Trump at a meeting. We want to continue to talk about this big story right here on Live Now from Fox and bring in our next guest with Politico, Cassandra Dumais. Thanks so much for joining us, Cassandra. This is a big topic that so many people are talking about, but, is it realistic? Could it happen? And where are we at right now in really all of this with some of the detractors in the White House?
Right. So we spoke with industry experts, advocates, and consumer advocates as well about what this proposal would mean for American homebuyers. And the concerns that they brought up was that this could actually be damaging to a primary benefit of home ownership, which is building wealth over time. As we've heard, this could actually mean that home buyers are less able to save money because although they're paying less in the monthly payments, the interest rates for these longer loans tend to actually be higher, meaning they pay more over time.
And I was seeing some of the chatter and really the talk here. Okay, if we did have this 50-year, a lot of people saying like, oh, I'm going to be locked in for 50 years. And then there was other commenters talking about, well, really, you're not in the home that long. How does the math play out for, let's just say the average right now is about 9 to 10 years someone's in a home before they move. What does that breakdown look like?
Right. So that was one of the main defenses from the administration, or specifically from the Federal Housing Finance Agency, which was that a lot of people don't wait the full 50 or currently 30 years or 15 years to get out of and finish paying for their mortgages. So really the 50-year loan opportunity wouldn't require people to be in debt for 50 years. Instead, it would give them the opportunity to pay those lower monthly payments and then wrap up the payment when they can. But this was still a concern to the experts that we spoke with, because it would still incentivize people to be in debt for longer, which could pull back on their ability to save and also disrupt their plans for retirement.
And how did this come about with Pulte really pushing this for President Trump? He had some graphics that he was showing, some poster board, and normally anybody that wants to talk to the president has to get some of these posters or any of the imaging really vetted. But it seems like he was just able to walk right in and show him the pitch.
Right. So Politico put out 2 companion pieces last evening covering the development of this 50-year mortgage conversation. I spoke with some industry experts, and then we had colleagues speak with folks in the White House about the dynamics of how this policy proposal even played out. And what our colleagues learned was that Bill Pulte had directly spoken with the president and actually shown him the image, which ended up on the president's social media platform, comparing FDR's involvement in lengthening mortgages to 30 years to an idea that President Trump could be the champion of a 50-year mortgage loan. And this had apparently gone past the usual channels for vetting ideas that reach the president's desk or reach the president in Florida. And that was really upsetting to a lot of the president's allies.
And it's fascinating to see just how fast it all came about, and really the chatter now.
Yeah, but it might be cheaper
behind
if you
it as
finance
it's
for
working
50
out.
years.
Is the thinking here that, okay,
You come out cheaper.
if homes go to 50-year rates for mortgages, is the worry maybe like cars could go, 10, 12 years, 15 years?
Well, what we heard from both the White House and from Pulte's agency was that this policy proposal was just one of many. We haven't heard much about specific implementation or moving forward on this. So it seems
Yeah, but then what's
that
the interest on
with
that?
the pushback that there's with the agency and from other people in the administration, that they're going to take some real time to consider this before moving forward with a proposal where we'd have more of an idea of what it might look like.
Yeah, well, we will definitely see how it all shakes out. But Cassandra, thanks so much for joining us. I'm live now from Fox. Always great to speak with you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
All right, let's keep it moving.
So it is no holds barred, or is it? Governor Gavin Newsom out of California and President Trump trading jabs, Newsom taking this shot at those he says are bending the knee to the president, and says his signature knee pads meant to troll Trump are flying off the shelves.
You sell Trump knee pads, Signature Series.
Yeah, sold out at the moment.
Sold out.
Yeah, well, because people have sold out, and because universities have been selling out, because law firms have been selling out, because corporate leaders have been selling out. People are selling out this country. I mean, we're seeing foreign leaders. I mean, that was what an embarrassment. The Patriot site's up there for a reason, along the lines of why so much is online, for a reason, to expose this president.
All right, that's the latest shot fired. Co-hosts of the Ruthless Podcast are here, John Ashbrook and Michael Duncan. Gents, good morning to you. Nice to see you last week at the Patriot Awards. We're doing this again. I'll play the president's clip in a moment here, but I kind of think I think they both enjoy this. Here's the president with Laura last night on The Angle.
I knew Gavin for 4 years. I got along great with him, but he's gone radical left. And, he's building a train system from San Francisco to LA that's got about a 2,000 or 3,000% cost over. The forests are burning down all over the place. And honestly, I always liked him, but he's a horrible governor. If he ran the country like that, we would have an absolutely gonzo country. This country would be gone.
Michael, kick us off. How's this spat going? Do you think anyone's got the upper hand?
Well, I don't know who has the upper hand, but I do think it really works to Donald Trump's advantage. I mean, what an incredible foil heading into the next year ahead of the midterms than the governor of California. You talk about issues like affordability, education, things like that. California is doing horrible in a lot of these metrics. And for Donald Trump, this spat works to his advantage as he paints the picture across the country of what Republicans can do to fix all of the failures of places like California.
Yeah, and as Gavin Newsom looks to 2028, the guy can't run on his record and he needs gimmicks. If he wants to keep his name in the headlines and compete with other Democrats who want to run for president, like the AOCs of the world, Rahm Emanuel, J.B. Pritzker, the old fat man. Some of these Democrats also really want that mantle in 2028. And if Gavin Newsom's going to have a shot, he's got to come up with all these gimmicks because, again, can't run on his record.
Hey, clicks and likes, guys, right? That's what it's about. By the way, he was slamming Democrats in the Senate for caving on that shutdown. So we'll see where that goes as well. So Jasmine Crockett is in the news just about every other day. Stephanie Miller's a podcaster. And apparently when they met, she bent the knee to kiss her shoe. A lot of people saying, what's going on right there? And she explained it this way. Go ahead. From IG, here we go. Instagram, roll it.
Look, can you confirm that I just kissed your sneakers?
This is true.
She's on camera saying she'll do the radio.
I am. We're doing it.
Future senator of the great state of Texas. I'm gonna miss Ted Cruz so much. He's so likable.
All right, John, you go first this time. Where's this going?
I mean, it's bizarre. First of all, these libs absolutely worship their politicians, which is basically the opposite of how Republicans handle their House members. If a Republican House member shows up in public, everybody's like, I'm going to give that guy a piece of my mind. But these left-wingers worship these people.
That's so true.
And it's bizarre to me.
It is strange how they genuflect before their politicians, but I gotta say, unpopular opinion, I kind of want to kiss her feet too, because I think what she's doing, running for higher office, would be great for the Republican Party.
Okay, John, how do you think that plays in Texas? I mean, Crockett got a shot.
I don't think it plays real good, Bill. And you know, they've got a big primary for Senate in Texas, and she's probably going to throw her hat in the ring. And it will just add to this Democrat civil war that we're seeing break out all over the country. Of course, you can hear more about the Democrat civil war as part of our continuing coverage of that civil war on the Ruthless Variety program.
Look, I'm looking forward to it. I think we're really only at the beginning of this Democratic civil war. And so I really hope the Gavin Newsoms of the world and the Jasmine Crockett's of the world rise to the top of the future of the Democratic Party.
Well, it's going to be a story to watch over the next year and beyond, I believe, right? Thank you, gentlemen. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming back. Have a great day, and we'll see you. We'll see you on the air. Thanks, fellas.
Wait, let's keep it moving. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what this is about.
All eyes are on the Supreme Court as we await a decision on funding for the federal food stamp program. Fox News contributor Jonathan Turley joins us now. Jonathan, welcome to you. Everybody's talking about this exchange between Scott Jennings and Rep. Clyburn, who is forced to admit that he does favor judges forcing President Trump into spending cash that, by the way, Congress never approved. Watch this exchange. I'll get your reaction.
Do you believe as a member of Congress, a judge can compel the executive to spend money that you haven't appropriated?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought we didn't want kings. Maybe we need king for a day. What do we need? I mean, that is literally a king spending money that is not appropriated.
Judge is not a king.
No, you're turning the president into one if he can spend without appropriation.
I mean, if this was on the other side, I'm sure we would be hearing Rep. Clyburn singing a different tune. Your reaction to that?
Yeah, it's an extraordinary moment, and that really did capture it. You have a judge here saying, "Find the money," and and Congress will make it right later. What the administration is saying is that Congress has committed this money to various programs, and if we take the money from those programs, those are unfunded. So it's a double whammy in that you're asking me to spend money in a way that was not appropriated, and to take money from a way that was appropriated. And the district court just sort of shrugged and said, well, do it, and Congress will make it right later. So the Supreme Court has a curious situation here because there is a degree of judicial avoidance. You don't want to necessarily render a decision on constitutional law that you don't have to. And here they probably don't have to. They know that the House is going to come in as early as tomorrow, presumably will reopen the government and turn the spigots on. And so the question is whether the justices prefer to kick them down the road, at least for 24 hours. This would then be moot.
Solicitor General Sauer responded to the ruling from the Rhode Island judge and said this: the irreparable harms of allowing district courts to inject themselves into the shutdown and decide how to triage limited funds are grave enough to warrant a stay. Considering his role in this White House, what does that tell you about where they're going to take this next, Jonathan?
Well, they're clearly gearing up for a fight here. This is becoming part of a broader issue for them. It's really not about SNAP. Actually, the administration has been working with judges as to how to fund this. And now, of course, the government's about to reopen. So it'll become a moot point. But this is part of a broader issue that they feel like this is a Lilliputian attack, that you've got hundreds of district court judges that are running parts of the executive branch or joining it with national injunctions. And the Supreme Court has sided with the administration on that. They've pushed back and they've told these district courts that they've got to be careful here, to leave to the political branches what is left to those branches and to focus on the issues at hand. This is as far as a district court could conceivably go in ordering a president to use his discretion to move funds around in the executive branch. And that does not sit well with many people in the administration.
I want to finish off with these words from Senator Schumer, who decided to jump in and rip the president for the Supreme Court ask here. Senator Schumer said this.
In another act of brazen cruelty, the Trump administration is going to the Supreme Court again to prevent hungry kids from getting fed. The cruelty of this administration is endless.
Considering 42 million Americans do depend on these SNAP benefits, putting on your political hat for the last few minutes here, Jonathan, I mean, when they present it like that, are they winning with the American public on this issue?
It's hard to say because Schumer is the one that kept on refusing the clean CR, and this would not have been an issue. And so it's hard to say how the public will react to this. But the fact that the Democrats have agreed now to reopen the government indicates that they see a slight change here. It's just that the only reason I was smiling is that Chuck Schumer is the last person who should be running around saying, my God, how did we get here? I mean, he's the captain on this Titanic, and he was steering towards the iceberg. And so I'm not sure that he's the best person to be making this objection.
Fair enough. Said as only you can say. Jonathan Turley, thank you so much for that.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews.
Here for a second. I'm actually going to pull up a video that I just noticed that I want us to watch together. So give me a second to prepare it. And watch together. I think it's going to be funny. Okay, why is it doing that? Okay, here we go. I don't know why you're doing that. YouTube, what is going on with you guys? You guys, there's too many changes and it's just not making it any better. All right, let's check this out.
All right, we made a lot of news with this interview, and once it wrapped, the president was gracious enough to give us an exclusive tour of the new White House renovations. Now, it was starting to get dark, it was late in the day, but we still got a good sense of how things will look, including the new ballroom. Now, warning, Democrat heads will explode. 3, 2, 1.
The new ballroom will go from here to there, and it'll seat a proper number of people, and the White House will finally, after 150 years, the ballroom that they wanted. You know what? They've waited 150 years, and the public is paying for nothing. The public is paying for absolutely nothing.
Wow.
Being done by donors.
You see, but the people are mad.
It'll be beautiful. One of the
No
most
matter
beautiful
what.
in the world. Come on. Okay? You know, a lot of people don't know that. They don't say that there's no cost. That's something weird.
That's unbelievable.
Now I'm going to show you. So this is the Presidential Walk of Fame.
Now, whose idea was this?
My idea.
My idea.
Everything's my idea.
Everything's your idea. Okay.
Sadly.
Who's that guy?
That's Barack Hussein Obama.
Okay.
This is Biden right here.
Wait a second. The
Worst
profile.
president.
The profile of Biden is.
So
a
he's the
little-
worst president in the history of our country, and Barack Hussein Obama is top 5.
He got the auto pen. Replace that with his actual photo.
No, I don't think so. Look at the faces of these people. Those are serious faces, right?
Oh, that's for sure.
Every one of them's a tough cookie.
Do you think these will stay up after you've left office?
Well, I think they should. On the bottom here, this hasn't been put yet. They're being made. We have a plaque that goes about that describes in a couple of
In
hundred
detail.
words. Important, right?
Yeah, very important.
And they're beautiful, beautiful bronze plaques. Goes up under each picture to describe it. Look at the scene over here, fellas. Look, how beautiful is that?
Wow,
Come
he's,
on over here,
he's
take a look.
making all these improvements.
This is the new Rose Garden.
Can't really see.
And now you can have news. That's the same stone as the White House. So now you can have news conferences. You can, nobody could stand in the mud.
Where did you get the stone?
Different places.
Different places?
Yeah.
Why was
But
it?
I'll show you something. This is the equivalent of what I do with the ballroom. I built many ballrooms and many buildings, and that's my greatest strength. Actually, might as well do this. So this room was in terrible shape. This was done by Jackie Kennedy, Jackie Kennedy Onassis, then Jackie Kennedy, I hope. And she took this area. It's called the Palm Court. And here we had one by one little tiles that were all broken, cheap, out of a box. The walls weren't good. We took it, I restored it. I put in new chandeliers. They had lanterns that were terrible.
I remember this room.
Yeah, it was a nothing room.
Yeah.
It was an embarrassment.
There was a seat, a
Wow.
bench right underneath there. Yeah.
To come to the Oval Office, you had to go through this room. It was an embarrassment, okay? And I took it down and rebuilt it. Same as she had it, but at a much higher level. And take a look at the floor. Take a look at the marble. So this is called.
It is really pretty.
Statuary marble. But look at the book ending. Look at the book match. Look how it matches.
That's tough to do.
No, it's very tough. You don't get it. If it's an eighth of an inch off, it's no good.
Is that brass? The brass?
That's a brass, 2 brass strips. But even if you look at the air conditioner vent, it's book matched.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Who can do that? I can do that because I know that, it's even available that you can do that. Very few people can do it. So you take a vent that's supposed to be a piece of aluminum or steel. And the marble man said, I said, do you think you could book match a vent? He said, yeah, look at the other one over there. Book match. But look at the quality of that job.
Where do you think you developed the attention to architectural detail? Like, at what age did you start realizing that's what
I
you
was
could
always,
do?
Yeah, I was involved with my father in building and all this stuff. And my father was a builder. So as a little boy, I'd be sitting there playing with blocks, I guess. And my father would be on the phone, and I'd be listening, I guess. And, you listen. I had a father who was very good at building. He was very good at building things. And so am I. I build better than anybody else. Nobody can build like me.
But was his?
You can ask Steve Whitcoff, who is the best builder, he will tell you.
Did your dad have the same attention to the specific details that you did?
Well, he built low, moderate income houses.
So it was a different
So
type
he
of
didn't
build.
have to do a floor like this. He'd do a floor out of tile, linoleum at the time they used to call it, and it would be a different kind of a thing. But he had a tremendous attention to quality. In other words, if it's going to be even, a regular floor, it would be exactly even, exactly straight. It would fit perfectly. But when you look at that job, nobody's ever seen it.
Do any of your kids have that same delicate attention to detail that you have? Because that's kind of, you can't really
I
teach
think
that.
they do. I think Eric is very good. Don, in a very different way, is good. Ivanka is, Tiffany's very smart. She was a
Byron.
great student, always a great student. They're all great students. Actually, they're all great students. And I think Byron's going to be tremendous at that. Yeah, he's very meticulous.
Is he here?
He is. He's here. He's right upstairs. Want to see him?
Studying, yeah. I'd love to see
You
him.
want to see him?
He's doing a good job.
Oh,
A
no.
lot
Don't
of
take him
people
to
think-
his room.
A lot of people think he could be the next Trump president.
I don't know. I think.
Or a lot of people are wondering which child would
in
be
a
the best.
certain way, they all could. Take a look at this, fellas. You want to see detail. So, like the sign. Most people would just do a sign, they paint it on the wall. So that's 1/2 inch thick bronze, carved by a very talented person. And it's brass. It's pure brass. It's 1/2 inch thick brass. And you can't just do that. That's, you look at that, that's quality, right? And then we start with George Washington and we go down to Trump.
That's really cool.
Pretty cool, right?
Where are
That
your
is cool.
speakers? Because I heard this.
All here.
They're in the bushes.
They're all here.
When did
So
you
you
decide you were a frustrated DJ? How long ago
Well,
was that?
I don't do that much, but I think having good sound is important because we do now news conferences on this space. As you know, you were probably a victim to it. You'd stand in the grass, your high heels would be ruined. The women are, walking out without. So I had to make it a hard surface. So I made it the same color as the White House itself, which worked out great. We just moved the tables. This over here was actually taken out of the East Wing.
Oh, is that right?
This was done by this was carved.
Oh, yeah, that was Gorgum.
By the carver who did Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, beautiful.
And this was taken from the East Wing. We took all the good stuff.
Okay, I've been to the White House. I don't know how many times. I didn't know most of that. I was fascinated by it, and the attention to detail is.
He's a great.
I don't care what you say. You like it, you don't like it. Okay, he has enormous talent. I thought it was really cool.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page.
A lot of people don't see that side of Trump. He besides being a businessman, he's an architect. He builds buildings. This guy, he finalizes plans. He makes sure he comes in within budget. He's been pretty good throughout his life. Kind of little hiccups along the way, because I know he had a hiccup with the Atlantic City thing, but that was some kind of weird shit that happened with that casino, especially the Taj Mahal. Which I've been to, and I have pictures that I've been to. So it's so cool that I went to a property that Trump owns, and I had all you could eat snow crabs, and we only paid how much was it? Like $15, I think it was, each. And come with drink, desserts, and all you can eat snow crabs. And man, that was my favorite. And I have a picture of me dogging it down. I was like, I didn't even stop. I didn't even stop for the picture. It was good times. But he had failures before, He at once upon a time he was, I wouldn't say bankrupt, but bankrupt. He had to declare and get himself out of the gutter. And it didn't take long for him to get out of the gutter and to get himself back into the positive. And it's man, just to see. I would love to see his movie. If they make it in the future, who will play Trump? Who would play all the characters and show the upbringing and show how Trump's life and how he got to how he is. And, man, that would be such a great movie. I'll watch it on Lifetime. I don't care. I'll still watch it. All right, guys, let's keep it moving. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Here we go.
President Trump pitching a whole new vision for American healthcare after Obamacare became a key sticking point in the shutdown talks. He says Trump Care will be both more effective and more affordable. President Trump broke how his plan would work in an interview last night with Laura Ingraham.
The premiums have gone up like rocket ships. And I'm not just talking about recent. I want, instead of going to the insurance companies, I want the money to go into an account for people where the people buy their own health insurance. It's so good. The insurance will be better. It'll cost less. Everybody's going to be happy. They're going to feel like entrepreneurs. They're actually able to go out and negotiate their own health insurance.
All right, let's bring in Dr. Mehmet Oz, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services Administrator, to discuss this. Dr. Oz, welcome to you. Good to get you back on the program. So what would Trump Care look like?
Well, these are all ideas that we're still working on, in part because until the government shutdown formally ends, we don't have all the people in the room who need to work on these programs, including actuaries and insurance experts. But let me take a step back and explain why the president feels so passionately about this. And, if you've noticed, there have been quite a few things on the agenda around health, and not just because Secretary Kennedy is pushing the MAHA agenda, but because MAHA really means making it easier to be healthy in America. So the most favored nation drug pricing, which you've been following over the last month, where we've taken the leading US company, leading European company, the fertility drugs, and just last week, the GLP-1 weight loss drugs, and gotten those prices down to where other people in the world pay them. No longer will there be global freeloading where Americans are paying 3 times more for the same product in the same bottle made in the same factory. That's part of a larger strategy the president has embraced of negotiating. You heard him say it in that little clip from Laura last night. So the fundamental question is, how do we empower people? And what the Democrats did during COVID, and the Obamacare system was out there working, whatever, but during COVID, there was an additional layer of incentives, of money thrown at the problem, which has historically been how, unfortunately, Democrats deal with these issues. They see an issue and they just throw cash at it, hoping someone will figure it out. In this case, some of that money got pocketed, but I'm going to share with you numbers that will blow your mind. And these are the actual numbers from CMS. We believe 4.4 million people are not appropriately enrolled in Obamacare, which means they're phantoms. They don't know they have the insurance. They don't want the insurance. They didn't need the insurance. They're already enrolled in some other policy. So we as taxpayers are paying for 4.4 million people to have full benefits for no good reason. And when you check into behind the scenes of why this is happening, when the Obamacare additional COVID credits were added in 2021, beginning of the pandemic, there were about 3.5, 4 million people who were never using their policies. And that's normal. Sometimes people don't use their insurance policy. Today, it's over 11 million people who have Obamacare never use their policies. They don't buy medications with it. They don't see doctors and use it, which means they often don't know they have it. And yet we're still stuck with the bill. The president doesn't want that anymore. He wants the waste, fraud, and abuse taken out of the system. He wants to take care of the people getting the ACA, Obamacare's insurance. And we want to bring privately carried people into the system as well. And that's what he's talking about. Let Americans use their money wisely. Allow people in the private sector to also use the exchanges. When Obamacare was created, they take a step back because this is the original vision. 50% of the people on Obamacare were supposed to be paid for by the government. 50% were supposed to be spending their own money. Now it's 95% government funded because we drove out all the private sector people by overpaying into the system.
Yeah, I remember when all that happened. And in this big debate over health care, the minority leader in the House, Hakeem Jeffries, took an opportunity yesterday to say some rather unkind things about you. Here's what he said.
Nobody who's serious in this country takes Dr. Oz seriously. No one. And I mean, it's shocking that the guy even was confirmed. I'm not going to respond to any comments from randos like Dr. Oz, who is woefully unqualified to be in whatever position he holds in the administration. He's a joke.
So, Dr. Oz, you and I have known each other for about 30 years now. And I put together this little collection of potential qualifications that you have. You did your undergraduate degree at Harvard. You did your MB at UPenn. At the same time, you did an MBA at UPenn's Wharton School. You're a renowned cardiothoracic surgeon at Columbia Presbyterian Hospital. That's when you and I first met. You created the complementary medicine program at Columbia Presbyterian. You're a professor emeritus of Columbia University. You invented the mitral valve clip. Harvard called you one of its 100 most influential alumni. And Time Magazine named you one of its 100 most influential people. So do you want to take a moment here to respond to the minority leader?
Well, Congressman Jeffries panicked. You know, he didn't understand the message that's an important one, so he tried to attack the messenger with an ad hominem approach. But, you know, that's not how you deal with the challenges that 24 million people are facing now, because the Democratic Party has not been able to really put forward a program that could work. Just throwing more money at it is not a strategy. That's a tactic that has already created immense amounts of fraud in the system, as I outlined. What I need Congressman Jeffries to understand is there are people in his district who are getting Obamacare and don't know they have it. We believe hundreds of thousands of people around the country are getting tax forms from the IRS claiming they had bought Obamacare where they had no knowledge about it, whether it's corrupt brokers or mistakes, or no one ever bothered asking them. But the congressman in his own district has this problem. All he's got to do is open his eyes and ears and listen to what's going on. And this is what's destroying the exchanges. This is what we're trying to do in this administration. We're trying to save Medicaid, save the ACA. You save it by making smart policies so the people who are vulnerable, who desperately need these programs, will have them for years to come. And you make sure folks who are not supposed to be on them, or don't even know they're on those programs, are not taken advantage of. And you definitely don't give the money away to the insurance industry. When you have insurance companies making 10 times increase in valuation It's because money's being thrown at a problem and it's not going to the actual issues.
Considering you've labeled him woefully misinformed, I wonder, Dr. Oz, maybe schedule a meeting with him.
I would welcome a meeting with Congressman Jeffries. I would welcome meetings with Democrats and Republicans. Healthcare should be a bipartisan effort. I actually have met with all the Democratic governors that I can get my arms around as part of the One Big Beautiful Bill's effort to change rural healthcare. As you know, putting $50 billion into that program. I'm out there talking to Democratic leaders all the time. What I don't want folks to walk away from this interaction believing is the Democratic Party actually has a strategy when it comes to the fraud, waste, and abuse in Obamacare. They don't. And their desire to just insist on putting more money into it, or they're going to shut the government down, is a woefully misinformed approach. Fix the underlying problems of the system, and we'll have enough money to go around.
Well,
don't deal with that dam, it's going to break.
I don't think anybody meets you and thinks, oh, that rando doctor, qualified Dr. Oz.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall in that meeting with you and Hakeem Jeffries. UPenn versus
Hakeem
NYU.
Jeffries proves he's an idiot.
I'm on.
Always great to have you, Dr. Oz. Thank you.
Thanks, Doc. Good to see you again.
Bless you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
That's
Hey,
the problem
click here to
with these
subscribe
people.
to Fox News YouTube.
They don't know how to respect. The lack of respect, that's the Democrats' problem. The guy, he comes with the credentials. He has an extensive history, like over 30 plus years, and yet he's gonna call him a chump. Are you kidding me? Hakeem Jeffries, what have you done? What's your credentials? Is nowhere near Dr. Oz's credentials. Nowhere near. Are you in the top 100 influencers in Time Magazine, Hakeem Jeffries? Are you anywhere near Time Magazine besides only reading it when you go to the restroom? Fucking idiot. I'm telling you, these people, we're living in hell, and it's these people. They think they have control, that they have power, and you could tell the narcissistic energy. You could feel it within the Democratic Party, but they continue doing what they're doing, and they let them do it. That's the weirdest part. All right, let's continue. What's this about? Shocking footage of Chinese bridge collapsing months after opening. Oh shit, so they built this brand new bridge and it collapsed. Oh, hell no. Look at this shit.
Oh, Chamadillo. Joe Pamalo.
Were there any cars in that? I hope there weren't any vehicles in that. Damn. That's horrible. Look at all the dust. That's a lot of dust. Look at that from the mountain. Yeah, they built this bridge, and look how fast it collapsed, and it just opened up. This brand new bridge. That's China for you. Look at this.
Oh, Chamadillo. Joe Pamalo.
That's wild. I hope nobody was on that bridge. Yeah, that's my concern now. Were there anybody on that bridge? Because I see a little flag there. I hope that's not like a vehicle or something. Damn, that's crazy, man. It looks like the mountain's on fire. That's just wild. And that's in China. Yeah, I saw how they were building this. They built it pretty quick, and I guess they built it pretty quick and shitty. Fucking China, man. Like, oh, come on, get your shit straight.
All the things you'd expect to find near the Charles River. This may be the most
What the
unlikely.
fuck?
Take a good look here. This is a small alligator. One man spotted that gator along the bike path. Thank you for staying with us. I'm David Wade.
Alligator
These
gets
are
in
not
Boston.
ideal conditions for a gator, as you would imagine. WBZ's Mike Sullivan talked
He
with
must
the
have been
man
a
who
pet.
had that close encounter.
He must have been
Often,
a
the
pet.
most dangerous animal on the Esplanade is a goose. That is, except this week.
I looked down looking for fish and I saw an alligator.
Trevor Rochelle did what anyone would do next. He took out his phone.
I thought it was fake. I didn't believe it.
The reptile wading through the murky Charles, emerging to greet Trevor by the bank of a lagoon.
TT Gator was sitting right here and he moonwalked right back into the water.
Next,
He
came the
moonwalked back in the water.
What do I do? What should happen?
Is this thing even alive?
Did you poke this alligator with a stick?
Gently.
Do people think it's AI?
That was the first thing that people thought. They're like, "You're joking. This is not real."
That stick you saw in the video, the one he pokes it with.
Here's the stick.
It's still there.
It's just as funny to me even talking about it.
He says no one believed him, not even animal control at first.
They thought I was
What?
crazy. The guy didn't believe me until I said I live near MIT. Then that gave them the, okay, maybe he's not as dumb as we thought he was. So they calling this in.
It turns out this isn't the first time this has happened.
He's dealt with a couple, and he had dealt with one in the Jamaica Plain area as well.
We covered a similar story in 2010. A canoeist came across one in the Charles in Needham. A local reptile educator pulled it from the water with his bare hands.
Definitely not native. Maybe someone had ill intentions.
Mass Wildlife is aware of the video, and they are working with Boston Animal Control and Mass Environmental Police to try to capture it. Alligators are not native to the state and cannot survive the cold weather.
Nope.
They're also illegal to own in Massachusetts.
Trying to get everybody to come out
He
here and
looks
try
like
to
a
find this
pet.
thing so we can get it
See
to
how it
your
looks?
home. I think that's the end goal here. So
In Boston, I'm Mike Sullivan, WBZ News.
I got to say, I feel bad for it. I mean, probably somebody got it and then didn't know what to do with it and
Yeah.
then sort of let it go. I feel bad.
I've got to tell you, as someone who worked in Florida for many years, I'm slightly desensitized.
To that,
I have
that's
to remember,
right.
this is not normal here.
It is
So,
not. No, normally we
No.
run from things like that.
right.
Yeah, that's just weird. Let's keep it moving.
We're learning more details on the development of a bloody scene on the campus there in Cal Berkeley last night. Let's continue on our coverage here on Live Now from Fox. Several arrests were made at this as fights broke out at a Turning Point USA event. Let's be joined right now by senior correspondent for Fox News, Claudia Cowan. Claudia, thank you so much for joining us. You were there on the scene. You were on the ground. What's the latest? And give us your perspective.
Well, hi, Andy. That's right. Things turned ugly really fast, really quickly last night when several hundred protesters tried to block ticket holders from getting inside the Turning Point USA event, which was being held at Zellerbach Hall on the campus of UC Berkeley. It was just quite a scene and violent frequently. Police in riot gear, though, did hold the line against the raucous crowd. Many wore masks and waved Palestinian flags. They were chanting "No fascists" in Berkeley, among other much more vulgar slogans. Tensions boiled over when people began throwing rocks and bottles and even a flare. A man who breached the barricade was quickly taken down and arrested. In another confrontation, a protester got into a bloody fight in the street with a man wearing Charlie Kirk's trademark Freedom shirt. Both were dragged away by police. Now, in a statement, Cal administrators said, quote, "We are aware of one violent incident last night. 2 individuals were arrested for fighting outside campus. They were arrested for battery by the City of Berkeley Police Department." We understand the campus police also made several arrests. And Andy, I can tell you that this violence last night has now gotten the attention of the DOJ, and a federal investigation will promise to look into issues surrounding security and how protesters were able to, quote, "operate with impunity in California. So this is not the last chapter on this violence we saw at UC Berkeley last night.
Yeah,
Andy?
it's very unfortunate what unfolded there at this, what was a peaceful event turned very violent, very, very fast. I do want to ask you, because you mentioned that DOJ investigation, the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights under Pam Bondi, they will be investigating it. She also pointed back to 2017 in Berkeley. Can you share any of those insights? Is that a familiar scene? Is that similar?
Well, you know, it's a good question, Andy, because, of course, Berkeley is known to be the birthplace of the free speech movement. But in the past, we've seen Ben Shapiro and Ann Coulter and other speakers who've been invited to come. But when they are conservative, they are not so much welcomed there at UC Berkeley. And that's what happened in the past. And there was an investigation, and I believe it was settled. So that's what Harmeet Dillon is talking about now in her post on X, launching this new investigation looking into campus and local security issues and what happened there last night.
And can you tell me what comes next? Because we know the arrests have to go through the judicial system. Is there any other events planned, any other conservative events? Because as you mentioned, Berkeley, really a hotbed for political activism. Are we expecting any other events from the right or the left?
You know, not that I've heard about, not at UC Berkeley. I can tell you that last night marked the final stop of this Turning Point USA campus tour. And organizers say this movement is only gaining momentum. And so they say they are planning more events at more college campuses with more high-profile conservative speakers in the months ahead.
All right, that is so very true. All right, thank you so much, Kalani. And it's been 2 months since that obviously tragedy that unfolded at UVU with Charlie Kirk. Claudia Callan, thank you so much. I appreciate your time here on Live Now.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you so much. All right, great reporting as always there from the Bay Area as the Turning Point USA event turned very violent last night. We do want to give you some more details about what we're seeing unfold. This a post from the New York Post saying the bloody brawl breaks out as agitators protest this Turning Point USA event, UC Berkeley in California. You noted, as heard from Claudia Callan there, talking about the nature of UC Berkeley. It is sometimes, unfortunately, in the spotlight for some of the free speech, but obviously agitators, potentially people coming together. This turned very quickly. And these are some of the images that we're seeing last investigating it. As the Department of Justice announced the agency would investigate protests ahead of the Turning Point event, where at least 3 arrests were made and fights broke out. In a Tuesday morning post on social media, Harmeet Dillon, a San Francisco attorney who's now the U.S. Assistant Attorney General for the Civil Rights Division, said she, quote, sees several issues of serious concern regarding campus and local security and their ability to operate impunity in California. She had the scene on Monday night at this Cal campus, which featured conservative activist, comedian Rob Schneider, and authors, was reminiscent of Berkeley back in 2017. So you can see some of these images, obviously very graphic of nature. So viewer discretion is advised. But this was expected to be a peaceful event, where people showcase their voice, their viewpoint, turned ugly very fast.
These Democrats, these left, and why are they arresting this guy?
Fights breaking out. We had our Fox 2 team, Sky Fox, high up top.
He's the innocent one
of it as well. So obviously, we're continuing to follow this here on Live Now from Fox. And before the event, UC Berkeley Assistant Chandler said the protest ahead of the Turning Point U.S. events organized by groups that had no affiliation with the university. He added that the university was treating the Turning Point USA event like any other major campus event while upholding First Amendment rights. And again, this is a post from the Turning Point USA about that. The comedian Rob Schneider taking the stage for this Turning Point tour at UC Berkeley. It's really the last stop on a campus tour that is stretched far and wide across the country. You're hearing from Rob Schneider himself on social media saying, I would like to thank all the courageous Cal Berkeley students who refused to be intimidated by the, quote, not very tolerant left. We know who the real fascists are, the thugs who don't want free speech. And again, I just want to reiterate one more time this statement from part of the UC Berkeley staff, Vice Chancellor, saying they're aware of one violent incident last night. 2 individuals were arrested. We're now learning that potentially another one was arrested for fighting outside the campus. Those arrested for battery by the City of Berkeley Police Department. All right, following it all very closely here on Live Now from Fox. We'll bring you any such details, any more scenes from Northern California here as they become available. Until then, we'll slide away for a quick 2-minute break.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and come over and watch an episode of Tyson De La Cruz. That'd be a cool little we got 2 of them to watch, but I got Tyson, another video, Tyson, and then the finale. Tyson's not the closer for tonight. he's the lid off, not the closer for tonight. But let's go ahead and watch this episode of Tyson De La Cruz.
6 men are under arrest for their alleged roles in a major drug operation. Prosecutors say the suspects had enough fentanyl to kill every single resident in Suffolk County, Long Island.
America, we just witnessed one of the largest fentanyl busts in New York history. Suffolk County authorities arrested 6 cartel members who had enough fentanyl to kill every single resident in the county. That's 1.5 million people. But here's what's really shocking. This massive drug operation was running from the Bronx all the way up to Long Island's East End, flooding American communities with poison while these criminals live like kings off of the suffering of our families. One of these dealers was literally sleeping with a loaded gun next to 3 kilograms of pure fentanyl.
This is a really big bust that we're talking about and part of the larger effort to get fentanyl off the streets and these drugs coming in from land and sea.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This buzz perfectly shows how Mexican cartels have turned American neighborhoods into their personal drug distribution centers. While politicians talk about comprehensive immigration reform, these foreign criminals are literally poisoning our kids and destroying our communities for profit. Let me break down the absolutely staggering scope of this drug operation. Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney announced that authorities seized more than 14 kilograms of controlled substances, including 4.5 kilograms of fentanyl and about 10,000 fentanyl pills.
A big bust on Long Island. Investigators say 6 men were running enough fentanyl to kill everyone who lives in Suffolk County.
The takedown was significant, not just because this operation spanned from the Bronx to Suffolk County, but because law enforcement recovered enough fentanyl to kill the entire 1.5 million population of Suffolk County.
Let me put this in perspective. Every kilogram of fentanyl represents 500,000 potential overdose deaths. That means these 6 criminals had enough poison to kill 2.25 million people, more than the entire population of the county. This wasn't some small-time drug dealing operation. This was an industrial-scale chemical warfare against American families.
What they recovered, narcotics, including heroin, cocaine, and a trove of pills laced with deadly fentanyl.
This operation was so sophisticated, it stretched from the Bronx to Long Island's East End. These weren't just street dealers. They were part of a coordinated network that authorities believe have connections directly to the Mexican cartel. They were importing death and distributing it throughout some of America's most affluent communities. Now, let me tell you about the cartel connection that the authorities discovered. This wasn't just local drug dealing. This was a sophisticated pipeline bringing Mexican cartel drugs directly into American suburbs.
Because the supply chain was far-reaching.
We believe that these drugs that ended up here in Long Island are coming from the Mexican cartels.
This is exactly what I've been telling you guys. The cartels aren't just operating at the border. They're running distribution networks deep into American communities.
This operation, led by the district attorney's office, was also made with help from the DEA and local police, turning up cocaine, heroin, and pressed pills, all part of a network that investigators say that they have been tracking for months. So
the fact that this network reached all the way to East Long Island shows how sophisticated this operation was. The Hamptons, some of the most expensive real estate in America, were being used as a distribution point for cartel fentanyl. Now, let me tell you about the specific criminals who were arrested, because their behavior shows exactly how dangerous these cartel operations
I'm not
are.
surprised.
Miguel Torres, 26 years old, was found sleeping in his bedroom with a loaded handgun when police raided his home.
Plus, at the home of Miguel Torres in Wyandanch at least 3 kilos of suspected fentanyl.
That's enough fentanyl to kill all 1.5 million residents of Suffolk County.
Torres found sleeping in his bedroom with a loaded handgun.
At Torres's residence, law enforcement recovered 3 kilograms of fentanyl, 5 kilograms of heroin, 1 kilogram of cocaine, and 2,000 fentanyl pills, and that loaded handgun he was sleeping with. This man had enough drugs in his house to kill hundreds of thousands of people, and he was ready to shoot up anybody who tried to stop him.
There's always violence associated with drugs, and to argue that it's not is either a misinformed interpretation or just plain stupidity.
These aren't peaceful entrepreneurs. They're armed criminals who are willing to kill to protect their poison distribution networks. The other defendants include John Collado, 26 years old, Anthony Dominguez, 33 years old, Eugenis Polino, 25 years old, Luigi Peralta, 31 years old from the Bronx, David Priest, 35 years old. This was a coordinated network spanning multiple counties involving multiple generations of criminals. This investigation that brought down this network was incredibly sophisticated. Between April and October 2025, undercover officers made 13 separate drug purchases from these dealers, buying a total of 7,441 fentanyl pills and 2.8 kilograms of cocaine.
Investigators sharing the update that we've got 6 individuals who have been arrested that were selling to undercover narcotics officers from April to October. So this all came to a conclusion.
The street value of drugs purchased during the investigation was more than $245,000. But that's just what undercover officers bought. The total value of drugs seized was in the millions. These criminals were making massive profits off of the destruction of American families.
Counterfeit pills can be sold over social media, paid for with cash apps, and delivered straight to your doorstep.
As investigators explained, counterfeit pills are sold over social media, paid for with cash apps, and delivering straight to your doorstep. They were using modern technology to make it easier than ever for people to buy poison. The pills were designed to look like legitimate oxycodone, blue in color with the M30 marking. But instead of pain medication, they contained deadly fentanyl that could kill somebody with just one pill. The weapons that authorities see show exactly how dangerous these cartel operations are. This wasn't just about drugs. These criminals were armed for war against American law enforcement.
In fact, police say they seized several illegal weapons, high-capacity magazines, and military-style ammo as well.
Listen to this stack. Law enforcement recovered 2 Taurus 9mm pistols, 1 Glock 43 pistol, 1 Mossberg 22 caliber rifle, 1 Mossberg 20 gauge shotgun, 7 high-capacity rounds, including 50-round drum-style magazines, and 1 military-style green ammunition can filled with ammunition.
There are hundreds of parents right here on Long Island who are suffering heartbreak like I am.
Carol Trottier of Oldfield lost her son Alex to accidental fentanyl poisoning. Since his tragic death, 2018, she's been on a mission.
These people, I don't even call them drug dealers anymore. They're death dealers.
And these death dealers are armed with enough firepower to fight off a small army. The fact that they had a drum magazine with 50-round capacity shows that they were prepared for extended gun battles with law enforcement. These weren't just drug dealers. They were domestic terrorists using chemical and conventional weapons against American communities. The human cost of operations like this is absolutely staggering. Thousands have died in Long Island since the opioid crisis began, and each one of those deaths represents a family destroyed by poison these criminals were distributing.
Yet last year, there was a drop in fatal overdoses.
Declines can be traced to increased prevention and education programs, Narcan, and collaborative efforts between social services and law enforcement.
Which is great. But again, that's not any reason for complacency.
We're not out of the woods yet. We can't afford taking our foot off the gas.
Operations like this show exactly why the cartels are constantly adapting and finding new ways to poison American communities.
And officials here say today's bust has saved countless lives. When you look at the drugs that are out on the table right now at this press conference here behind me, you see just how truly dangerous. this could have been if they had been out on the streets.
But for every network they shut down, there are probably 10 more operating in the shadows, bringing cartel poison to American neighborhoods. The 21st century drug trade operates through social media, cash apps, and home deliveries, easier than ever for young people to accidentally buy fentanyl, thinking they're getting something else, and easier than ever for them to die from just one pill. The legal consequences these criminals are facing show exactly how serious the justice system is taking this threat. John Corlato, the apparent ringleader, was charged with 12 counts of first-degree criminal sale of a controlled substance and faces up to 20 years in prison if convicted. But here's what really matters. This investigation shows that when law enforcement agencies work together and take the cartel threat seriously, they can achieve real results. The Suffolk County District Attorney, East End Drug Task Force, working with federal agents, dismantling a network that was poisoning communities from the Bronx to the Hamptons. This is the kind of aggressive law enforcement we need to see more of, not just arresting street-level dealers, but going after the entire network and treating cartel operations like the terrorist organizations they really are. America, this Suffolk County drug bust shows exactly what we're up against in the war on drugs. Mexican cartels are operating sophisticated distribution networks that reach deep into American communities, bringing enough poison to kill entire counties. These weren't just drug dealers. These were chemical terrorists armed with military-style weapons and enough fentanyl to commit genocide against American families. They were sleeping with loaded guns next to kilograms of poison, ready to kill anybody who tried to stop this operation. The fact that this network reached from the Bronx to the east end of Long Island shows how sophisticated these cartels' operations have become. They're using social media, cash apps, and home delivery to make it easier than ever before to accidentally buy death. Carol was right when she called them death dealers instead of drug dealers. That's exactly what they are, merchants of death who profit off of the destruction of American families and communities. This bust saved countless lives by getting 14 kilograms of controlled substances off the streets, including enough fentanyl to kill 1.5 million people. But it also shows how much work we still have to do to protect our communities from cartel terrorism. We need more operations like this, more coordination between agencies, and more recognition that the cartels aren't just criminals. They're foreign terrorist organizations waging chemical warfare against American citizens. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you for a great episode yet again. Yeah, the drugs is crazy, but hopefully we can get it under control. I think that open border just really messed it up for like all of us. All right, let's go on to the next video here, and let's watch and enjoy.
A mysterious Manhattan-sized interstellar object has been blazing through our solar system and has exhibited some peculiar characteristics that have puzzled some scientists, and it's making waves on social media.
7 jets of gas or plasma are now emanating from 3I Atlas. This is not something that comets typically do.
That looked like a damn galaxy, fool. And that very well could be a ship.
This Atlas, 3I Atlas, this comet, is really our galactic allies.
So what exactly is 3I Atlas, and why is it so mysterious? In July, NASA's Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, or ATLAS telescope, in Chile, made a groundbreaking discovery, a potentially billions-year-old icy celestial comet blasting through our solar system. The discovery marked only the third time a mysterious object from beyond our cosmic neighborhood had been observed passing through our solar system, leading scientists to name the comet 3I Atlas. 3I for it being the third observable interstellar object, and Atlas for the acronym of the Discovery Team and their telescope. In the space agency's initial announcement after making the discovery, NASA announced the comet was believed to have come from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius and posed no threat to Earth, with estimations it would pass 150 million miles away from our only known home. But as scientists further analyzed 3I Atlas, the interstellar object started showing some unusual characteristics, leading to some disagreements, especially from one scientist, on whether the object was a comet at all. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb led the charge on the skepticism, when he posted a blog in August claiming the cosmic nomad appeared to be emitting its own light. After Loeb and a colleague analyzed photos released by NASA of the object, the astrophysicist theorized that 3I Atlas's glow was likely not reflected from the sun, but rather from a source diameter smaller than 100 meters. The brightness profile analysis led Loeb to speculate that the nucleus of the object could be in fact nuclear and possibly an engine crafted by alien people. Though Loeb said they still needed better evidence, the astrophysicist also said that a nuclear-powered 3I Atlas could also explain the object's suspicious trajectory.
It comes very close to the inner planets other than Earth, like Jupiter, Mars, or Venus. And the chance of that happening, given the trajectory, one can change the arrival time of this object, and only in 1 in 20,000 cases you end up with such a close proximity to the planets, because they orbit around the sun, and the chance of being so close to them is very small. The unusual trajectory of this object offers the possibility that it might have been designed so as to have some goals of a reconnaissance mission.
But even with Loeb's alien theories now circulated in the media and online, NASA maintained that 3I Atlas was merely a comet, and fellow scientists also shared their own skepticism about Loeb's claims.
It's irresponsible science. This is just coincidence, the path that it comes through the solar system. There's a perfectly natural explanation for this. It is behaving like a regular comet. Once it's close enough to the sun and Earth and big enough to reflect enough light that we can see it, it just becomes another speck of light that's moving among the stars. And then, they're discovering a lot of these every night. It was becoming interesting once you trace the orbit to something that's from outside the solar system.
But whether scientists believe in 3I Atlas's alien origins or not, the celestial visitor has kept scientists on their toes. In August, an analysis of brand new images revealed 3I Atlas was covered by a conspicuous cloud of carbon dioxide, shocking space experts. The pictures showed 3I Atlas glowing bright red with a seemingly threatening aura during a phase expected by scientists called outgassing. But even though scientists anticipated the outgassing phase as the object approached the sun, the object dumped out a conspicuous amount of carbon dioxide and a surprisingly small amount of water and carbon monoxide, according to experts, including Loeb. In a blog post, Loeb wrote that 3I Atlas's outgassing was 16 times more extreme than expected for a typical comet at the same distance from the sun. And as the comet continued its course closer to our star, Loeb started sharing starker warnings about the object. During an episode of the Soul Foundation podcast with Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, Loeb said people needed to be skeptical about what the experts were saying.
We have to be careful about experts declaring things as rocks in the sky, because we produce some space objects, and the question is whether other civilizations did as well. And of course, the UAP subject is a derivative of that, because if we are visited by a technological object like 3I Atlas, it could either visit us or release some mini probes that arrive at Earth and appear as UAP, and we need to be aware of that possibility.
And the mystery surrounding the celestial object continued. As it sped closer to the sun, scientists from the European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope in Chile reported a dramatic rise in cyanide and nickel outgassing, which changed the mysterious object's color from red to green. The object then started emitting a metal alloy never before witnessed in nature, known as nickel tetracarbonyl. Coincidentally, the type of refined compound is used in metal coatings in manufacturing, including in the aerospace industry, to strengthen surface materials. Loeb even accused NASA of withholding critical information about 3I Atlas when he told Joe Rogan on his podcast that the space agency had reportedly snapped an image of the celestial object when it flew by Mars, but that the image was never released.
3I Atlas came within 30 million kilometers of Mars, and it was taken by the high-rise camera on board the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, which is operated by NASA. As you remember, October 1st was the government shutdown. So October 2nd, the data was taken, but it was never released. I wrote to the principal investigator of HiRISE, asked, can I get the data? I'm a scientist. You can do the press release afterwards. I would like to see it.
Right.
No response.
And as the object continued its journey through our solar system, it exhibited several more science-stumping phenomena. While approaching its closest point to our solar star in a phenomenon known as perihelion, Loeb cited a report from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which he claimed provided the first evidence of a non-gravitational acceleration by the celestial object. Loeb noted that while most comets get a slight boost when their ice turns to gas and spouts out like a jet, an event known as the rocket effect, 3I Atlas was showing way more zip than expected during its approach. As the object sped up, it also shifted colors again, appearing bluer than the sun, leading Loeb to speculate that if it wasn't a natural signature, it could also be a hot engine or source of artificial light. Images captured on November 8th of the strange object even led Loeb to theorize that the object had a complex jet structure, which could be a set of thrusters used for navigation of a spacecraft. Loeb also noticed that 3I Atlas was losing an insane amount of mass after making its closest pass of the sun, prompting the Harvard scientist to suggest that the object might have also exploded into multiple pieces. This dramatic weight loss would seem to point to the object's cometary makeup, but Loeb is not willing to rule out extraterrestrial origins just yet. Scientists are still certain, though, that 3I Atlas is just another comet. According to Futurism, on October 24th, the Meerkat radio telescope in South Africa finally picked up the first ever radio signal from the object, after 2 failed attempts in September. The telescope reportedly detected radio absorption lines by hydroxyl radicals, which are created when water molecules are broken down by sunlight. The radio signal discovery now suggests that Atlas is a comet that's losing water when flying by the sun, and not a potentially hostile alien probe sent to do recon on our solar system.
A lot of people have pointed telescopes at this. The telescopes show in every way that this is a normal comet, but there are some voices out there that persist in saying it's aliens. So I'm here to tell you it's not aliens.
Scientists will have a chance to determine whether Atlas is natural or technological when it makes its closest pass of Earth on December 19th, 2025.
Yeah, and that's coming not too about a month from now. So, all right, let's see what we got here. Let's go back to me, and let's set up Tyson De La Cruz. That's what we're gonna watch next, and then we're gonna finish off tonight with Jason A. For the second night in a row, going with Jason A as a closer. So good. Tyson, we won't see him here this Thursday. He won't be here tomorrow. Tomorrow, Thursday, Tuesday today. But he won't be here this Thursday. He has things he has to take care of. He got important things to attend to. So we'll have him here back in another week. So it'll be like 9 days. It's okay. We're patient. And we'll see him soon. But let's go ahead and watch some Tyson De La Cruz. Put some sound up.
Event, the GOP funding bill that would keep the government open until the end of January.
America, we just witnessed the complete collapse of Chuck Schumer's government shutdown strategy. 8 Democratic senators, including Tim Kaine, broke their own party to end the 40-day government shutdown after realizing they were getting destroyed politically. But here's what's really beautiful about the timing. While Democrats were holding the government hostage to protect Obamacare funding, President Trump just exposed a massive $1 billion Medicaid fraud scheme where blue states were illegally giving health care benefits to illegal immigrants. Now Trump is promising $2,000 stimulus checks for Americans while clawing back billions that Democrats stole to fund health care for people who shouldn't even be in our country.
Was it the shutdown worth it?
We have waged a battle on behalf of the American people. First of all, Donald Trump and Republicans are the ones who shut the government down. They have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And the American people know it. And that's been the case for 7 consecutive weeks.
But at the end of the day, you didn't get what you want. So was it worth waging this fight?
At the end of the day, the fight lives on.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story perfectly shows the difference between Trump's American First agenda and Democrats' America's Last policies. While they were fighting to protect illegal immigrant benefits, Trump was fighting to put money back in taxpayers' pockets. Let me break down how Chuck Schumer's government shutdown strategy completely collapsed when 8 Democratic senators realized that they were on the losing side of this fight. The Senate voted 60-40 to end the shutdown, with Democrats like Tim Kaine, Dick Durbin, and others breaking the ranks in their own leadership.
I don't need a lecture from whether it's Bernie or the governor in California, because they are representing very deep blue kinds of populations, and a lot of those things were part of the extreme. And now remember, what really needs to win, the big win, is involving my state and other states and those things. And why have we arrived here after the election a year ago? We got to forget some of the things that cost us that election. Or now, for me, it's like, that's why I'm trying to remind people that kinds of the extremism, we can't return to those kind of things, and realize we need to find a way forward.
They saw the polling numbers and realized that holding the government hostage to protect Obamacare subsidies was a losing strategy with American voters.
Virginia Senator Tim Kaine is among those trying to get this done. Senator Mark Warner not on board, and it all centers around health care.
Kaine realized that Virginia voters weren't going to support holding the government hostage for Obamacare subsidies. The real reason why Democrats held the government hostage for 40 days wasn't to help American families. It was to protect Obamacare subsidies that were being illegally funded to illegal immigrants in blue states.
That's a big win for 2 million federal employees, and added together with these other ingredients of robust appropriations bills and a guaranteed path forward to vote on fixing the ACA.
Kaine tried to spin this as a big win for federal employees, but the real issue was that Democrats wanted to continue the illegal Medicaid payments to people who shouldn't be receiving American taxpayer-funded health care.
We're actually clawing that money back from those states now, but the fact that that could still happen is very frustrating.
While Democrats were fighting to protect these illegal payments, the Trump administration was already working to claw that money back from states that have been breaking federal law. This is exactly why the Democrats were so desperate to keep the government shut down. Now, let me tell you about the massive Medicaid fraud that Trump just exposed while Democrats were holding the government hostage. The Trump administration discovered that blue states illegally spent over $1 billion in federal Medicaid funds on health care for illegal immigrants. California was by far the biggest culprit, spending over $1.3 billion in federal Medicare dollars on health care for illegal immigrants. Illinois spent around $30 million, followed by Oregon, Washington, D.C., and Colorado.
Half the 24 million people on Obamacare don't use the insurance. Now, if you buy insurance with your hard-earned dollars, you're going to probably use it for a prescription, a doctor's visit, no use. We believe half of those people, 6 million, literally don't know they have insurance, don't care that they have insurance. They're phantom enrollees.
So taxpayers are paying for insurance for people who don't use it, while also paying for illegal immigrants to get Medicaid benefits. This wasn't poor accounting. This was a deliberate scheme by blue states to use federal taxpayer money to provide health care benefits to people who are legally prohibited from using them.
Federal law forbids using Medicaid funds for illegal immigrants, yet several Democrat-led states did it anyway. The Trump administration won't tolerate it. CMS is auditing aggressively, recovering every dollar and holding states accountable.
We've already gotten hundreds of millions of dollars back, which again, it proves that these states realized that they were guilty because they wouldn't give us the money back otherwise.
This was deliberate fraud, not an accounting error. California's $1.3 billion in illegal Medicaid payments to illegal immigrants shows exactly how Gavin Newsom's administration has been stealing from American taxpayers to fund benefits for people who broke our immigration laws.
I worry now, though, that sounds like some of my colleagues and friends in the United States Senate, some of my Democratic colleagues just decided that we're playing by the old set of rules, not the new set of rules, and may have rolled over a little bit. So I love your question. It's the right question. I want to be part of that answer as an American citizen, not as a governor, as the ex-governor of California. But right now, we've got to hold the line, because I think America will become unrecognizable in a year or two unless we fight back.
California spent 4 times as much as the next highest state, showing how systematically they were breaking federal law to provide benefits to illegal immigrants. This wasn't an accident. This was policy.
It was worse than pointless, Larry. It was cruel. It was capricious. It was dangerous. It was radical. It was extreme. The Democrats shut down the government in a failed attempt to extort $1.5 trillion for their pet projects, including, as has long been documented in black and white, full funding for healthcare for illegal aliens for several hundred billions of dollars.
Dr. Oz explained it perfectly. If California wants to give Medicaid to illegal immigrants, that's their choice. But they can't take money from taxpayers in Texas and Florida to pay for it. That is exactly what they were doing, and that is illegal. The reason this fraud was able to continue for so long is that there were no proper verification tools in place to ensure that federal Medicaid money was only going to people legally eligible to receive it.
You didn't have the verification tools in place to enforce the law. So we put the verification in the Working Families Tax Cut Act, also known as the Big Beautiful Bill.
House Majority Tom Emmer explained while the law prohibits using Medicaid funds for illegal immigrants, there weren't verification tools in place to enforce the law.
President Trump's reviving talks of stimulus checks. He said on social media he wants to send $2,000 to most Americans funded by tariff revenue. No legislation has been introduced related to this. Congress would have to approve any payouts. Trump has floated that idea several times this year. He says extra tariff money could go toward rebates for taxpayers or paying down the national debt.
This shows the difference between America first and America last priorities. This, my friends, is the perfect contrast. Democrats fought to protect illegal immigrant benefits, while Trump is fighting to put money directly into American taxpayers' pockets. Either way, it's American money going to American priorities instead of being stolen to fund benefits for people who shouldn't be in our country. The timing of this announcement is perfect, just as Democrats are being exposed for stealing taxpayer money to fund illegal immigrant health care. Trump is promising to give that money back to the people who actually earned it. America, this story perfectly illustrates the difference between Trump's America First agenda and Democrats' America Last policies. While Democrats held the government hostage for 40 days to protect illegal immigrant benefits, Trump was working to recover billions they stole from American taxpayers. 8 Democratic senators finally broke with Schumer because they realized that fighting to protect Medicaid fraud wasn't a winning political strategy. Tim Kaine and the others saw the writing on the wall and abandoned Schumer's failed shutdown strategy. The $1 billion in illegal Medicaid payments to illegal immigrants shows exactly how blue states have been systematically breaking federal law to provide benefits to people who shouldn't be receiving them. California alone stole $1.3 billion from American taxpayers to fund health care for illegal immigrants. Dr. Oz's revelation that half of the people on Obamacare don't even use their insurance, while taxpayers pay twice, once used for Obamacare policies and again for illegal immigrant Medicaid benefits, shows how broken and fraudulent these systems are. The Trump administration is aggressively clawing back every dollar while implementing verification tools to prevent future fraud. Meanwhile, Trump is promising $2,000 stimulus checks for American citizens funded by tariff revenue from foreign countries. This is what America First looks like: recovering stolen money from illegal immigrant benefits and giving it back to American taxpayers who actually earned it. Democrats fought for 40 days to protect fraud, while Trump is fighting to put money back in American pockets. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Democrats prioritize illegal immigrants over American citizens, while Trump prioritizes American families over foreign criminals. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Great upload. That was a really good one. Because it is a scam, and the fact that the illegals are on that program, it makes it even worse. Alright guys, this is the last video of the night, and I said it was going to be 2 hours, and I failed. It's gonna end up being 3 hours, but it's okay. It was fun. And let's go ahead and watch this last video. And this one's coming from Jason A.
Do you think that that means that there's alien life in the water, or is this simply like, you know, when people fly drones over a body of water and the drone goes down? Is it that simple, or does it mean that there's potentially alien life underwater somewhere?
The video that we were just looking at, my first thought was, that's got to be divers, right? It's got to be divers with those neon lights. And then I thought, no, not at night without a dive boat. That's really dangerous. What did you make of it when you saw this?
Exactly that. I mean, I'm a master diver. There's nobody around there with a dive boat, with a dive flag.
Well, you know, the more logical explanation, and something that's gaining more and more traction, is that there could be an entire advanced civilization coexisting with us here on planet Earth. They could be inside the Earth, they could be under the water in bases. And some of these stories that we're getting about encountering these craft, which has apparently been going on for a long time with the U.S. Navy, are starting to make sense. So it could be a combination of extraterrestrials that have bases here that are concealed, or there's the very real possibility that we're dealing with an actual additional sentient race here on planet Earth.
Can you talk about some of the stories? You mentioned that you're hearing more stories out there of these USOs. What kind of stories are you hearing?
Well, you know, the people are coming forth from the Navy, and they're talking about things where submarines have encountered craft the size of football fields that are moving at impossible speeds underwater. There's videos that exist of these things going from space to air to in the water without really seeming to change based on what's around them. So in other words, they're able to traverse without the restrictions that you would expect to find when you're going through water.
Wow. What are we looking at right now with this video?
A lot of these stories coming up, and some of them are coming from you know, reliable people. And you guys are looking at this video. This is a MUFON case that was sent to us, and that's undetermined. You know, that could be anything. It could be some scuba divers. We can't figure out what it is, but we're not sure if it's, you know, some kind of alien craft under the water.
The number of sightings that people are having in these locations, and you know, putting it all together, it just doesn't make sense that so many people you know, are unable to I don't know. The UFO thing has been you know, always people focusing in the sky, right? And so it's kind of like now that we're shifting to USOs, a lot of people are wondering if this is a new phenomenon or not, and it really is not. You know, it's the submerged objects have been since the beginning. You know, when we started reporting, remember we had these pilots that were seeing them in the water off of Catalina, and air traffic controllers were telling us that pilots were witnessing this glow, sometimes the size of a city. You know, and so here you have this Fort Lauderdale case. It's a lot smaller, but you know, it's really hard to say whether we're looking at a natural phenomena. It's definitely not like phosphorus and algae. It's nothing like that, and it definitely doesn't explain how people are seeing the objects come up out of the water and zip out, and these huge like flaps have been going on for decades.
You know, I'm not that well versed in this world, but I haven't really heard of USOs before. Is it now we're talking about it because it's trending? Is it because we have more advanced technology that's bringing the Navy, these different organizations under the water where we can see some of this?
Yeah, it's definitely trending. And the more information that gets released through the political process, it's becoming more and more apparent that, you know, encounters with the Navy, encounters with submerged craft, the stories are coming from the sailors, and the official acknowledgments are coming from the higher ups that there's something going on under the oceans that is beyond what we know about today. It's going to unfold over time, and we're going to be learning more.
And then the ones that dive back into the water and don't even make a splash, which is also, it just gives the, you know, makes the hair on my neck stand on end. Again, I just want to go back to these pictures. No, okay, not divers, but is it possible? Well, first of all, have we seen any, you know, plausible explanations surfacing? Like, well, this could be the military testing out new technology. This could be all sorts of stuff that we're not supposed to be seeing, could be the enemy, although I doubt the enemy wants to be seen like this. But any plausible stuff that you've seen surface?
In this particular case, we really haven't had a chance, no pun intended, to dive into it yet. But this is just an example, like I said, of something that is much bigger, where I've had numerous cases where people are telling us have been out in the boat, they've been far away from shore, which again would be much more difficult to be just divers. And they've passed over areas about the size of a football field. And it's like somebody turns on a switch and the whole thing just lights up underneath them. Right. And then you mentioned the fact, too, that some of them, like we have the USS Omaha case caught on thermal camera, where we have this transmedium travel where they go into the water, don't seem to disturb it, come up out of the water, sometimes in broad daylight. Right. So something is traveling back and forth. You remember Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet, who's been on the show before. He testified in front of Congress about a Navy program that they're calling the fast movers. Right. And the fast movers, they detect and track these objects that travel faster than any torpedo should or could, perhaps over 100 miles an hour. Right. And so you've got the fast ones. You have ones that kind of just linger there. Huge, kind of like the size of a city. These guys, I think, were really afraid because they didn't know, should we actually drive over it? What's going to happen if we do? Is it going to take us down, suck us in?
Apparently, there's been a ton of mysterious sightings on either U.S. coast in the water. I want to bring in Alejandro Rojas, a UFO expert, to talk a little bit more about what's been going on. It has so many people talking, Alejandro.
Exciting topic.
Oh, boy. All right. So I'm seeing here that there is a popular UFO reporting app that you have that records these thousands of sightings. What are we seeing?
Yeah, so we've got this app, take reports, and we're getting hundreds of reports a week. The majority of these reports, I look at the videos and kind of analyze those because I've got a history of experience doing this. The majority are mistaken identity, but there are those that are really we don't know what they are. And we kind of take stance, or we agree with NASA or the government, that really we need to start collecting data, analyzing this data to figure out what's going on. These cases are really mysterious. So what we've been doing now that we've got, historically about 300,000 cases in our that you can look at, but we've collected ourselves in the last years over 40,000 reports. So we're going to group those into collections and then look at some of the characteristics of these different groups. And the latest group we're looking at are underwater UFO, commonly referred to as unidentified submerged objects, or USOs, which is kind of a set of UAPs. And we found some really interesting accounts. We've got a couple interesting videos, one off the coast of Florida, one off of Mexico, and we've got a lot of great, including off the East Coast, and even one closer to you all in Manistee there.
Oh. Oh my. Okay, so I have to ask you, I remember there was like a congressional hearing on UFOs or UFEs. Did USOs come up in that? I don't remember this term USOs before.
Yeah, it is not as commonly known, but it did come up. In fact, there's a former Admiral, Tim Gallaudet, who addressed this in those hearings. And he did talk about, cases where it's been reported that things move quickly underwater. Referenced an unconfirmed project called Fast Movers, where actually kind of a code name they've given these up. I don't know for sure that that's been done. There's been other reports kind of saying that the Navy just collects these reports, they get them, but they don't really pay attention to them, which makes it difficult to then analyze reports. So yeah, it is a thing that does happen, come up in the hearings.
So I'm seeing that U.S. Navy officials warn that this could pose a threat to national security. How so?
Yeah, Tim Gallaudet in particular. So some of these cases get mixed up with like drones. So for instance, there's a couple of cases in 2018 that came out. One from USS Omaha, one from the USS Russell, were taken of multiple objects over boats. So what are those? You know, these guys in the middle of the ocean. What's going on? Why are they happening? Now they've determined those are likely drone swarms. But why this is important, because some of this they're alluding to is potential Chinese technology, where the Chinese are looking at launching drones from submarines. It's obviously an issue. When it comes to objects that are a little more difficult to explain, such as very fast-moving objects under the water, you know, some people that have reported some of these things are, you know, right off the coast of Mexico or in places with a lot of commercial boats and that sort of thing. So, you know, anything running into something or something coming up that's submerged and runs into a private, you know, boat, something like that, that's where they're safety concern. And of course, when it comes to national security, one of the big arguments, especially with drones, right, that we've had a blind eye to them. We really been taking a close look at the advancements of the technologies and the utilization that our enemies may be using to observe. An example is these U.S. boats being caught off guard and these drones flying above them. You know, we need to have some real tactics. We need to be able to deal with that to ensure this of our sailors, so to make sure that the Chinese aren't gathering the, you know, intelligence we don't want them to get.
Yeah, I guess, you know, it's just weird times we're living in. I am so tired. I am so tired. Who knows what lives underneath and who lives in the ocean? We don't even know, like 90-something% of our ocean. We don't even know what the hell is down there. So it's like anything can be possible. There could be people that are probably living within our core and within the oceans. Why not? If we live on the land, I'm pretty sure there's people that live in the ocean. Anyhow. Alright, guys, I'm calling a wrap. I'm done for the night. I'm tired. So, with that said, have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night. And I'll catch you on the flip side. And tomorrow, we'll see how it goes, how I feel, because I feel really shitty. I think it's because of the weather and everything. It's just really taking a toll on me. And then the energy that's coming from the sun is really fucking me up. It's really messing with my head because my head's been acting weird for like the past, like I said, 8 days. So it's just trying to figure this shit out. But it's a very painful, rude awakening when it happens. It's like someone's knocking really hard in your brain and it wakes you up. It just sucks. All right, guys. I'm done for the night. You guys have a good night. I'll see y'all later. Peace.